Well, good morning, everyone. It's been fun so far. We've had all kinds of weird stuff going on, which maybe that bodes well for the oddity of this particular game, which the Fantastic Lord Aerthos has designed for us and will be running. So, Aerthos, tell us what's going to happen.
Yeah, so we're going to be doing a Chronicles of Darkness game. For those who are not familiar, Chronicles of Darkness is an alternate reality kind of setting. So our game today is set in Joliet, Illinois. All of the players, as well as chat, is encouraged to use the computers at your fingertips and look around at things in and around Joliet, Illinois for the players and the story to interact with and be involved in. And I might make stuff up because it is an alternate reality, or we may run things as you find them out there. But everybody is going around, and spooky things are probably likely to happen because, as Zero said, that has been our morning, and that is the time of season. So, my name is Aerthos. You can find me here on C Plus Content. I don't stream anywhere else, but you can find me in chats for a lot of our friends here around. For everybody who's with us today playing, why don't you tell us a little bit about your character, and because it will be useful for the story, what your virtue and your vice is. Twilight, let's start with you.
My name is Mike Anderson, and I am by day a music teacher. I'm very good at the piano in particular. But by night, I am an amateur boxer. And my virtue is that I'm righteous, but my vice is that I'm a bit corrupt. I really, really want to get into the boxing scene, and my coach wants a bit more money from me, and he says he's going to get me into a match soon. I'm really hopeful. Sin.
My character is Beth Davis. She's about 30 years old, probably the oldest character here. She's a fencing instructor at a private school in Joliet. She has an ungodly amount of cats. Names which include Atlas, Almond, Atlantic. Yeah, that's what it was.
Russet, Yukon.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. All names of potatoes, because that's my thing.
On brand.
Mm-hmm. She lives on Hacker Avenue, which is like 2 streets away from the old Joliet haunted prison. And her virtue is loving and her vice is violent. 0.
Oh, yeah. If anyone knows Pidgey, yell at them. Say, wake up. Yeah, I am Zero or Zero Daylight, or Michael. And I will be playing Ollie, who is, as I glance at my character sheet, because I haven't prepared. So Ollie Beecham is like early 20s, like super early 20s. He is he's one of those kids that got pretty good grades, but not like awesome grades. And his parents are neither poor nor wealthy. So he is doing a couple of years at a community college with the goal of transferring to Northwestern, because he's got like ambition, and he just has never really applied himself except to urban exploring, which is the thing that he loves. He is very ridiculously skilled at like parkour, and also teaches MMA, because it's kind of just sort of related skills, and he's a fairly physical person, lots of energy. One of those kids that started running when he was like 2 and just like never stopped, and like has been and still climbs trees and stuff. His virtue is that he is generous, although he doesn't have a huge amount of money. He likes to like do everything he can to make other people feel better. And his vice is that he is an adrenaline junkie, which kind of makes sense when you start like leaping from the roofs of 6-story buildings when you're like 10. Yeah.
Yeah, you get hooked on that feeling.
Yeah. And he is a minor TikTok celebrity, but under his pseudonym Echo Runner. So he has one of those LED masks, and shoots TikToks. He's got a couple of drones that he with like GoPros that he shoots cool scenes of himself urban exploring and parkouring. But because a lot of that stuff isn't technically legal, he has to maintain the pseudonym. So his supplemental income is generally through the TikToks and stuff.
Excellent. Love it. So for everybody else who is joining us again, thank you. We are set in Joliet, Illinois, circa 2020. Right at the midpoint of October. School is winding down. We can see as the camera kind of slowly zooms in over Joliet and kind of pans across some residential streets. We see kids heading off to school, people in their cars driving to work. And we come across a diner where we see everybody sitting down for a little bit of breakfast. And everybody sees and hears the hustle and bustle of everybody in a larger town, but in a small neighborhood, enjoying breakfast, and some parents talking about how people are always doing crazy things this time of year, all those kids doing pranks and causing mischief, as they do. And I'm going to have everybody, just to kind of give us a flavor for how things roll here. If everybody can roll me and expression and composure.
Okay. So for chat, this is the Chronicles of Darkness, which is a D10 system. If you're familiar with Vampire and Werewolf and all those World of Darkness games, it's similar, right, Erthos? But
Yep,
we're not
system.
Vampires or any of that stuff. We're just people.
Yes, if you're looking for a narrative corollary, anything from like a Stephen King movie to the Supernatural TV show is going to be a good corollary for you. Everybody here is very, very human.
Ooh.
We just roll the number of dice per dots we have, right?
Yep. So number of dots you have in composure plus the number of dots you have in expression.
Yep. And 10s explode, which means add another die. So for example, I rolled 6 d10s, 2, 5, 4, 9, 8, and 10, and then rolled another one with an 8. So that's 4 successes.
4 successes. Nice.
I got 3 successes, 2 of which exploded, but neither managed to reroll.
We are very expressive and composed.
You are all having a very expressive breakfast. Beth, any success?
So I get the fun of rolling 1 dice, and I got a 3. So that's not a success.
Wow. So Beth has no chill for real. Wow.
Yes. Something about the conversation with kids causing mischief just really kind of puts Beth on edge. Like she's personally offended by these parents feeling very self-righteous about kids being kids, right? And having fun around a part of the calendar year that's meant to be fun and exciting for kids. And Beth takes that very personally, and is probably discussing her feelings a little bit with the group, or playing with her food while dealing with those emotions. And Ollie and Mike actually overhear an elderly lady mentioning a couple tables over that one of the schools nearby actually wasn't open today because of an investigation into some kids going missing, which seems unusual because it's a Thursday. Like, it's not actually like parent-teacher conference or something. Like, there is something very unusual going, but you also haven't heard anything in the papers.
Well, that's not good.
I mean, you would expect them to get a supply teacher in or something and send the real teachers out to look for kids, wouldn't you?
No. That's what the police are for. I'm going to send teachers out with like sticks in fields. Because the teachers would probably fall in a hole and die or something. So is this a thing that... Is this connected with... I'm trying to say, is there a trend? Have there been other unusual things? Would there be anything, at least in any of our minds, that would go like, oh, this is another example of something weird happening? Or is it literally just, oh, crap, kids disappeared?
This sounds unique. Like, there definitely isn't a trend of like missing persons in Joliet of late. Obviously, missing people happen all the time in the country. Around this time in our history, roughly 1 in every 500 people is a missing person.
Yikes.
But it is unusual for it to be a young person. And it sounds like they went missing sometime between when they arrived at school and just never went home.
Oh.
So definitely some interesting things here from what you can pick up from the conversation of these old ladies a couple tables over. And you know that it's actually some people who were going to Plainfield South High School and had already kind of put in and were accepted to the junior college in town.
Interesting. Is that a building that I might be familiar with?
Yes. So you are familiar with the junior college. That's where you are currently finishing up your studies as you're preparing to transfer.
I was thinking about the Plainfield South building.
Oh, the high school?
Yeah.
You are not familiar with Plainfield South. Beth has been there a couple times for some lessons, but not many people at Plainfield are super interested in fencing.
Not many people are interested in fencing. Right. I mean, I am. But, yeah. Although it's a lot easier just to punch someone. It's like you gotta go, hold on a second. Let me go get my épée.
Yeah, Ali might think of fencing as like a neat thing that he could integrate into a video for TikTok in some way. But it's weird. Like, how do you fence and parkour at the same time?
Well, you can have people try to stab you with swords as you run up walls and stuff.
Oh, that would be...
It's like a super extra ninja challenge. We should make that happen, Beth. No, well, so my head goes to like the stuff that I used to do when I was in school, which was like go down into the boiler room, crawl through vents, go up on the ceiling, and jump off the AC plant up there and try to leap from pipe to pipe. So Ollie's decided that they went somewhere that they weren't supposed to be on campus and got trapped, or maybe someone got hurt.
Yeah, that definitely sounds like something kids would do.
And it's after school right now, right?
So it is late morning. Like, it is not quite the lunch rush, but it's relatively quiet for a diner in a relatively large town. Joliet's the third largest in the state of Illinois, outside of Chicago metro area. So we got a reasonably good number of people here, but it's not a packed diner right now.
But sneaking into the school is not an option at the moment because they're going to be... It's daytime.
It's not likely you would get in unnoticed by anybody, but you could probably walk in without anybody harassing you because there are people there.
Yeah, no. a zero desire to go and pretend to. I mean, I can punch people real good, but
Yeah,
Beth.
Beth or Mike might have better luck walking into a random high school in town.
Yeah, Beth has been there before.
Exactly.
You could go figure it out. So what I'm thinking is they either went somewhere like the basement or something, and where they weren't supposed to and are now trapped, or they are. Is there anything near the school, right, that would be like urban myth, like the creepy old mansion, or the old abandoned train tunnel where supposedly the axe murderer lives, or like anything that they might have gone nearby to set up a prank?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. One of the exciting things about Joliet is there are tons of haunted places all over town. One of which, actually near to the high school, is the old Scut Mansion. It's actually a historical site, but it is known to be haunted, and a lot of high schoolers do go there for playing pranks and seeing like who can stay there overnight and who can get the ghost to talk to them.
Yeah.
I haven't seen anything myself, but I've heard about this mansion myself, and I believe it. There's definitely ghosts there.
I mean, kids wouldn't have to set up pranks if there were actual ghosts. So, but still, I don't know. I mean, I'm always down to go explore some stuff, and I don't like the idea of a couple of kids like trapped under a filing cabinet because they were crawling around where they weren't supposed to be. I mean, that kind of stuff has happened to me, and it was a real pain.
Somehow, yes, I get the feeling that yet again, Beth and I will end up holding the video camera.
That's what the drones are for, but I can't use the drones in confined space, dude. But yes. Look, I'll get you. I mean, we can keep training with the MMA, and maybe with some work, I can teach you some basic stuff. I mean, if you really want to be, I mean, I'm fine if you want to be on the channel. I just can't have you like falling to your death, because that's not. I mean, that's probably good for one TikTok, but it's not great. It's not great for the brand, man.
All right. Shall we go to this mansion then?
Hey Beth, since you have a reason to go, like maybe you want to put up some posters to invite some kids from the local school for like an after school lesson or something. I don't know. You're creative. Or maybe you need cat sitters. I don't know. But like it wouldn't be weird if you walked into the school. Maybe you could go and see if you can pick up anything. And we can go check out the mansion. It's just right nearby.
Yeah, sure.
Or do you want to come to the mansion too? I'm just worried that if we go walking in the school, people are going to be like, what are you doing here, dude?
Yeah.
And I'm going to be like, hey, just hanging out. And they're like, you can't do that here because this is for kids. And it's like, oh yeah. You can see how that wouldn't go well.
Yeah. Yeah, so you two can go to the mansion and I'll check out the school.
All right. Yeah, just poke around and see if you can find out what's happening. And then give us a call if you need any help. And we'll give you a call if we find an actual real ghost or something. Woo.
There's definitely going to be a ghost.
There's not going to be a ghost.
So splitting the party right away. Love it. And as our party leaves the diner, we have kind of a quick jump scene where everybody in chat sees some hands attached to a person off camera, wielding what looks to be a crude scalpel, and cutting into what looks to be somebody's chest, but we don't see an actual face or anything else attached to it. And then it jumps to Beth walking into the school.
Okay, so when you say hands attached to a person, you just mean like we just see the hands in the frame?
Yes. Yes.
I thought you
just
meant
see
like a
hands in front of
person who just has a bunch of hands like stuck to them. I was like, ah.
Oh no, that's a different kind of nightmare.
Okay, got it.
Yeah, so we cut over to Plainfield High School where Beth is, I'm assuming, just walking in the front doors.
Yeah.
Okay. And as you're going up to the school, you do see what appears to be fewer cars than you would expect for a Thursday. From the conversation at the diner, you would assume that some parts of the high school are probably closed off as being kind of snooped and poked about by the authorities. But as you go in, it actually looks like the school is almost empty. Like there are absolutely no students at school today.
It is a school day, though, right?
It is absolutely a school day. Every other school in town is in session.
Yeah. But the old lady said that school was canceled today. At this school.
Yes, at this school. There are a good number of vehicles here, so you're guessing it could just be other teachers and administrators, and probably, maybe somebody from the authorities. What would you like to check out at the school?
Probably check out the boiler room, because that's probably an off limits place some kids would like to explore and get trapped in.
That's just gonna like plow straight to the most dangerous space. I like it.
I mean, the odds of Freddy being there are pretty low this time of year, right? Yeah, go ahead and give me. Let's do an investigation and intelligence.
One success.
Okay.
Oh no, no successes. Almost a success.
No successes. So as you're going to check out the boiler room and some of the other off limits areas for students, one of the janitorial staff stops you and says, "Beth, what are you doing here? It's not a teaching day. Did anybody tell you? Also, why are you down here? We don't do any teaching down this hallway."
Oh no, nobody told me that it's not a teaching day. Sorry, I guess I missed the memo. But yeah, I thought I saw something come in here, so I thought, like, kids these days like to go hiding in weird places. Wanted to check out to see if maybe someone wandered in here.
Oh, well, nobody should be in here. I was in here earlier today and locked the door behind me, so this room should be fine. Yeah, apparently one of the kids didn't show up at home last night, and the parents got super spooked, so they called the cops and started a whole missing persons thing. Just overbearing parent stuff.
Yeah.
Anything I can help you find?
Yeah. Do you know of any places in the school where, like, it's possible for a small person, like child size, to get into and possibly not be able to come back out?
Gosh, not that I can think of. I mean, there's plenty of janitorial closets and stuff hidden around, but myself or the other custodians would have found somebody if there was somebody hiding in a closet. And I mean, they're all unlocked, so it's not like somebody would be like actually stuck in the closet. They'd be able to make noise and we'd find them. So it'd be really weird for someone to be stuck in there for a whole day.
Yeah. And there's no possible way for, like, a student to crawl into the vents of the school?
Oh no, the vents here are far too small. I mean, after that incident a couple of years ago where the seniors put a bunch of gerbils in the air conditioning system for that prank. I mean, those things are wired so tightly shut. I mean, you can barely get your fingers in there.
Right. That was on the news. I remember seeing that.
Yeah, I did not enjoy cleaning up the vents that summer. That was great. I would love to never do that again.
Yeah. All right. Thank you for your time. I guess I'll be going now since it's not a teaching day, you know.
All right. See you, Beth.
It's day. Yeah. And she walks out.
Okay. And then we'll cut over to Ollie and Mike, who are going and checking out the old Scut mansion. From the outside, it's actually fairly well kept. You know, historically, that this mansion dates back to the early 1800s. It's actually been restored a couple times over after a small fire, and obviously the elements have done their damage to the original exterior of the mansion. But other than a historical marker out front, there's nobody here.
All right. Gotta assume it's locked.
You'd think they'd chain it up. After all, every family that's moved in here has been horribly murdered.
That's an urban myth. Besides, there's all kinds of places where bad stuff happens that are totally fine. I mean, probably every place you go is probably somewhere that someone died at some point. And if there were ghosts, we would be just drowning in them all the time. So, cool. Hey, is there a spot around the side or back where we are less visible to like people driving by on the street or any nearby buildings?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, as you walk kind of around the mansion, you see that there's an old servant's entrance on the back side that's actually kind of not quite abutting an adjacent property because there's, you know, it's an old 18th century house, so there's hedges all around the property line that kind of hides the ground level from view. But yeah, there's an old servant's entrance around the back that's off the street.
Cool.
That cars won't see you from.
Yeah, so let's park like a block or two away, just so we don't have a car sitting out in front of the mansion, and then we'll like squeeze through the bushes in the back, making sure that like double checking to make sure that we're not like obviously doing that as someone's driving by. All right, you check the door. I'll check the windows. So I will. Oop. Are we good?
I needed to roll 2 dice, and I got 2 8s.
All right, 2 successes. Excellent.
While we're doing this, I would like to take a quick glance up at the windows and see if any of them are broken or anything like that around the back and side as we're moving.
Yes, perfect. You don't see any that are like obviously broken. You see a number that are cracked and you know, in a state of disrepair. Give me a resolve and investigation check as well.
That would be a single success.
Okay, so we are successful at that too. Yeah, as you're looking up at the windows, you do see some kind of movement out of a second story window. It looks vaguely shaped like an old woman, but moves kind of away from the window so quickly you can't really discern any features.
I just saw a ghost.
Right. Did I see it? Did I see it? No. Then it was in your head.
I'm telling you, those cracked windows, somebody slammed an ectoplasm hand into them and broken the glass from the inside. You can tell from it's from the inside.
I would like to, however, hop up high. I think I forget what my ridiculously high. All right, I can scale 35 feet with no roll.
Yeah.
So I will just like do the whole like run halfway up the wall and then jump over onto the little overhang over probably one of the entrances, pull myself up, and then just hop, catch myself on a windowsill and pull myself up.
Yeah. You hop all the way up there, and as you get up, you can see that none of the windows up on the second story are locked in any way, form. A couple are not meant to be opened, but you find a couple that you can very easily slide open, and you can just crawl into the second story.
I would like to try the door.
The door is unlocked.
That's fine.
Ollie, as you crawl in, the room that you get in is actually pretty dusty for a historical house. You don't see any like overt cobwebs, but clearly nobody's been in this room for a long time. And you just see kind of old furniture and knickknacks. It looks like it was probably an old study. There's an old desk and some writing implements and a journal or two sitting on that desk. But otherwise, this room is pretty empty.
Cool.
And then, Mike, as you go in through the servants' quarters, it looks like it opens directly into just a small entryway adjacent to the kitchen. You can see the kitchen very nicely laid out and updated from when the house was originally built, but it's still very, very dated. You're seeing an old icebox from like the 1910s in the kitchen with a very large sink, cutting boards and all that stuff just kind of hanging around. Again, a lot of dust. Looks like nobody's been in the house for a while.
Was the lady I saw looking out the window on the same floor as Ollie, or?
Yes. As you watched Ollie just like clamber up the side of the house and in, Ollie actually went in through the window where you saw that person.
Yeah, and as you're opening the door, I was like, yep, no ghosts up here.
I am going to pull out my mobile phone and call Ollie.
What?
You went in the same window that I saw the ghost in.
Yeah, there's no ghosts up here.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Have you looked in all the closets and behind the cabinets?
Well, look, if it's a ghost that just hides in cabinets, then I'm not worried about it.
All right. I'll meet you in a moment. I'm just got to try and find the stairway.
Cool. I'm gonna take a few snaps, or take a few seconds of video. So yeah, I'll do a little bit of a. Here I am in the old mansion and blah blah blah. And everyone says it's haunted, but it's kind of actually cool. Whatever. So if you haven't been in, this is what it looks like.
Yeah, you get a great little TikTok. Are you putting your face in the frame, or are you just being like the disembodied voice for the video?
This I'm just shooting out. It's like for just like a little montage. Like sometimes I just put together montages of various interesting places, so it's a little bit of voiceover. But like I don't think I have. No, I probably have my mask in my backpack, but I'm not going to put it on.
Okay. Yeah, you get a nice little video of kind of what's going on and kind of showing off the room you're in. Do you go to leave the room?
Yeah, because I mean I don't know if I've ever been here before, but I assume if I leave this room, there will be stairs that go down that Mark will be coming up. So I'm gonna go connect with him.
Yeah. So as Ollie, as you go to leave the room, give me a dexterity and we'll do dexterity and athletics.
Okay.
I know that's just a handful of dice for you.
It is. 1, 2, 3 successes.
Excellent. So you open the door and you're still capturing video at this point. And as you do, you're about to walk out and you stop yourself because you see something glisten on the floor, which is a stark contrast to all of the dust in the room that you were just in.
Is it
And you
like
stop yourself right before you step onto it.
Is it like a tripwire or?
No, it looks like some kind of liquid that's pooled in various places on the floor, basically going from like the room you're in down this kind of lofted hallway to the stairs, then going down.
Yo, Mark.
I shout back up the stairs. Yes?
There's gross stuff all over the floor. Don't step in it.
All right.
Come upstairs. I'll see if I can get a look at the stuff and see what it is. Like, is it?
Absolutely. I'm going to assume that you are still recording video until you tell me otherwise.
Sure. It's like, gross. This place is. So this is so guys, this is the kind of thing that happens in urban exploring. Usually not in houses like this, but this is a good PSA. So you've always got to be super careful, especially around any fluids or like any barrels that have any like dusty stuff on them, because there's a lot of toxic things that can come up. So like one of the reasons I wear a mask is because, but also to filter out any particulates and stuff, because there's like lead paint and asbestos and stuff. So you've got to take care of your health if you're going to be a good urban explorer. And part of that is not stepping in or getting weird fluids or dusts on yourself. So this is a perfect example. Don't know what it is, but yeah, always keep your eye out to not step in or breathe dangerous stuff.
I love that PSA. It's words to live by. As Mark goes over to the stairs, you get over near the staircase where you can hear Ollie kind of hollering from up above. And you're a little incredulous because as you're looking at the staircase, again, the stairs are covered in dust. Like there's no sign that anybody has used these stairs in months.
Oh, yeah. As I'm leaving the kitchen, I'd like to quickly go through the cupboards, just quick open, see if there's any food there.
You don't see any food. You do see a number of very nice, almost like antiqued flatware and bowls and things. And you do see what looks like some reasonably modern cutlery as well.
You mean like plastic handles?
Mm-hmm.
I guess they must be from the last family that was murdered here. Anyway, I'm going
That's
back
what you
up.
assume.
I'm going upstairs to meet up with Ollie now.
This is a historical society building, right? They probably have like fundraisers here every once in a while, dude. They might have.
Do I see the stuff on the floor?
Yes. So as you get to the top of the steps, you can see Ollie taking video and kind of narrating this public service announcement for all of their fans. And you see the same weird puddles of liquid that don't quite look the size of footprints, but there's a number of them, and there's the one kind of by Ollie and the room that he stepped out of is actually the largest of them. And the puddles stop there. Like the puddles just go from the top of the stairs to that room. They don't go to any of the other rooms on this floor. And they look reasonably fresh. Like they're still actual puddles of liquid.
Incontinent possum. I'll scan the ceiling, because obviously the first thing is to look and see if there's like a leak from the attic above.
Yeah, you look up and you can see, an amount of disrepair you would expect in a building this old, but nothing that looks like it's a water leak.
Okay. Weird.
I bet, though, that the attic would make a great location for filming.
It'd be dark and dusty and stuff like that.
That's the whole point of the video.
Have you actually watched my talks, man?
Yes. Yes, I watch all of them, man. I do, really.
Well, then you know it's not all about crawling into dusty, gross places. It's mostly about like really cool establishing shots and like, oh, this is a really cool like skyline. And then what's that guy doing? Oh, he's jumping from roof to roof. Cool. But yeah, I mean, we can check out the attic if you want. But people were here, right? So we've got kids
Right.
that are missing and people were here. Does it look like pee? The liquid?
It doesn't, and it doesn't smell like urine. It actually smells slightly foul,
Gross.
and it seems kind of thick, like almost like a too runny gravy that somebody would have been making, but it's very dark in color.
So someone pooped themselves.
And not quite that foul, but definitely not a pleasant
Yeah.
odor.
Well, maybe it's related to whatever the kids were doing. Like maybe they were gonna set up a bucket of like gross water or something to fall on people, and then they spilled it on themselves.
If Beth were here, she would know what it is. She knows all about the disgusting goos that children extrude.
That's true. You should give her a call.
I shall call Beth. Beth!
Beth's phone rings right as she is pulling up alongside the Scut Mansion.
Okay.
Beth, come round the back. There's an open door. And then just come straight up the stairs and we'll be right in the hallway.
Tell her not to step in any of the gross water stuff.
There is stuff on the floor. Be careful.
Okay. And Beth then just goes, but she takes her rapier that's in the back of her trunk because she does not leave home without it and takes it with her.
Like every good fencing instructor.
Mm-hmm.
You carry it with you at a Walmart.
Yep.
With all these liquids, an umbrella might be almost as useful.
Galoshes.
So as Beth is coming up, Mark, go ahead and give me a intelligence and investigation at a -1.
That was Mark, right?
Oh yeah, sorry, Mark.
Oh, sorry. Intelligence.
Investigation. Or investigate, yeah. Can I help?
Sure. You can help as well. Yeah. Same -1.
So I have 1 intelligence,
Yep.
and because I'm completely unskilled in investigation, that means that I roll no dice whatsoever.
Right. So because you're at basically a negative die, you have 1 chance die. You only succeed on a 10.
Okay.
You can use
7.
a major boon to give yourself a +2, but you'd still be negative. So 7 will be a failure. Ollie.
I got an 8. On
All
one
right.
die.
So Ollie has 1 success. Mark, you're a little unsure what the weird liquid is because of all the shadows and everything playing at stuff. Ollie, you've had enough time running around abandoned buildings and fighting that based on the odor and just kind of like wafting some air at the liquid to like see how it behaves, you actually think these are pools of blood.
Oh. Oh, well, that would be pretty obvious, don't you think?
It was 100%
But
ectoplasm.
it's not like normal. It's not like normal fresh.
It's unusually fresh compared to how nothing else in the house seems to have been disturbed in months.
Got it.
Like you're kind of unsure how it got here, and it also doesn't quite behave the way blood normally does. Like you're not seeing it like coagulate and dry the way it should.
So it has a slightly unusual. So it didn't look like fresh blood at first,
Right.
but kind of looking at it, it's like, oh, you know what? I bet pig blood. They've got pig blood plus some sort of anticoagulant, right? So they can lay out like, oh, here's the bloody trail.
There's no dust though. There are no footprints in the dust, unless the pig is a flying pig.
They didn't bring an entire pig in here.
And as this conversation about flying pigs and pig blood is happening, is when Beth walks up the stairs.
Yeah, don't step in it. It's pig blood.
Noted.
I mean, I'm not sure it's pig. It's probably pig. Could be cow.
Beth, if you were an obnoxious child who was hiding pig's blood everywhere in a haunted house, where would you hide to jump out and scare people?
Probably in the basement.
Yeah. Isn't it always the basement?
Yeah.
So we're on the second floor, right?
Correct.
Just from outside, is there like an obvious like garret on top with like a little window?
Yeah, so there is an obvious attic space on top with a ventilation window to it. And for this part of the country, you're fairly certain there is probably a basement as well.
Yeah. Should we just do it top to bottom? Leave the basement for last? That's what they always do in the movies. And then they find the hellmouth or the well to Satan or something.
Yes, but the first person who leads the group always dies, so that's you, Ollie.
Fine. That's cool. Yeah. So let's traipse around and see if we can locate the access point to the attic. Just to make sure.
Yeah, you see the access point actually kind of hanging down at the end of the hallway that you're currently in, so you have to kind of walk around the blood you found. And just like, we see in a lot of classic movies, there's just a drawstring to pull the attic door open and some stairs.
Okay.
Or a small ladder, come down.
Yeah. So kind of probably a more modern edition.
Yes, it looks like it was definitely one of the updates to the house from when it was originally built, just to make it easier for people to walk in and kind of see things.
Yeah. So, all right. Pull it down. Unfold the ladder. Pull out a flashlight.
All right. Yeah, you go up into the attic with a flashlight, and it's a fairly unfinished attic. So there's a small space around the door where you can walk normally, but beyond that, it's just open installation, and you'd have to step on the rafters to get around. Up here, you see a lot of different, just really old boxes and crates that look very old. Looks like nobody's touched them in a while. You're guessing the curators probably just leave them up here as antiques for people to be like, oh, this place is so old.
Yeah. I'll pull out the GoPro, turn on the light. So potential cool cache of fun stuff. Now remember, we're not about taking stuff, but there might be some really cool things up here. But so far, it doesn't look like there's anything dangerous or any prank set up here. So cool. But mark this place for later. Maybe get some cool snaps of like old historical photos but later. So
yeah.
All right.
Yeah, you get some quick snapshots and you head on down.
Yeah, nothing up here. So climb down.
As Ollie's up there, Mark and Beth both give me a resolve and composure.
That's not good. Beth, you're going to do really well.
Yep.
I mean, there are some boons out there if you feel like you need them.
1 success.
Uh, no successes.
All right. As Ollie is up narrating to his video on his GoPro and taking pictures, both of you hear what sounds like footsteps coming up the stairs. Mark takes it a little better than Beth does. Beth, you are now feeling a little concerned and a little spooked by everything. So you're going to have a shaken condition applied to you until you choose to fail a roll. And this condition is going to give you a -1 on any mental skill checks.
I am going to go and look to see what the footsteps were.
Yeah, you go and you kind of peer out over the railing, and there is nothing on the stairs.
It's fine. It was probably the kids. Don't worry.
Yep.
Ollie's head pops down from the ceiling. What are you doing? Are you guys jumping at... Look, old houses are creaky. Are you guys jumping at shadows? I've been gone like 30 seconds. Seriously. Climb down, put it up. Should we just make a quick circuit around second floor, then first floor, then down to the basement? Just to make sure?
Absolutely.
Cool. I'll take this side.
You all very quickly go through the second floor. Really nothing unusual here. In fact, what you would expect. There's a couple bedrooms. Some of the linens are older than others, ones that they have kept to keep the originals or near enough to them, with some minor restorations for that historical value. Others they've updated. And other than the study that Ollie came into, all of them are kind of that natural seating resting area. When you go downstairs, again, everything looks fairly dusty. It doesn't look like anybody's actually been in the mansion in a few months. But you see a kitchen and a large living space and a large dining room, and also a modest-sized library with a number of old books and another desk for writing whatever you'd like. And then kind of off of that study, kind of in between there and the kitchen, you see a door that presumably leads down into the basement.
I'd like to pick up one of the books, the newest looking of the books in the study, and look on the first page to see what date it was published. I want to see how old the last owners of the house were, when they last moved in.
Sure. So the book that you happen to pick up happens to be one on human anatomy and physiology, and it looks like it was published sometime around 1895. So you know historically that there were newer residents from there, but clearly they didn't update anything in this room. Or at least this book is incredibly well maintained.
Shall we go down into the basement then?
Yeah.
All right, you open the very creaky metal door handle into the basement. And of course, the door makes that wonderful creaking sound that everybody loves to hear. And you see stairs, very old, that look probably ready to break as you step onto them. Who would like to go first?
That'd be me. Shine the flashlight down, and then, all right, kids, if you're down there, 1, not the cops, not your parents, don't worry, you're not in trouble. 2, if you try to prank us, I will beat your ass.
I have a question. Is Beth's rapier or foil blunted or a live weapon?
It's a live weapon.
Okay, our adrenaline junkie going down the stairs first.
Of course.
Do you have a separate flashlight, or are you using your phone as a flashlight?
I'm sure I have an actual flashlight.
Okay.
I mean, I'm sure I have like headlamps and actual flashlights, and you know the GoPro has lights and all that. So I'm fine. But in this case, I'm just holding a flashlight.
Got it. Yeah. So you head down the stairs. They all hold your weight just fine.
Yep.
But as you get down, you do also see indications on the stairs and stuff that dust has been disturbed as you're going through. And as you shine your flashlight across things, go ahead and make me a resolve and composure.
Resolve and composure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. All right. Oh. 1 success. Still 1 success.
All right. As your light kind of shines over stuff, you see something rather unsettling, and you throw up a little bit in your mouth. But you stop it from completely making a mess of yourself and losing your cool. As your light kind of goes out over what was probably just a larder at some point back in the 1800s, you see a pentagram scrawled on the floor with candles. And in the middle of the pentagram, you see what appears to be some kind of very rough, jagged leather or paper.
I think the reason it doesn't bother him is because he's like, yep, this is the set. They've set it up. It's what, it's like, okay, look, there's 2 types of folks. There's folks like me who are in it, and I'm saying this out loud to everyone. There's folks like me who are just like, I'm in it for the challenge. I'm in it to like go places and like show people like all the cool stuff that's around. And there's the people who do stuff like this, right? It's it's the History Channel ghost hunter wears the abominable snowman or whatever kind of thing where they, oh, look, we found this like ridiculous thing. It's like, yeah, you set that up, dude. It's like the world is cool enough without having to make stuff up. So clearly someone has come in here and put up this like super fake looking pentagram. Blah. But certainly we'll take a look at it.
Yeah, it's clearly fake.
Yeah.
Yeah, so as you get closer, Mark and Beth, as you come down, you can also make me resolve and composure checks because this is more than a little weird. And as Holly gets a little closer, you very quickly realize that it is not paper, but it is actually some content warning, some human flesh that was carved off of somebody. And there appears to be some runes carved into that flesh that is laid in the center of this pentagram.
Ollie for sure thinks it's part of a pig.
Do 7s count as a pass?
No, 7 is a failure, but you can
I
use
did
a
get one
minor...
8.
Okay, so you did get 1.
Beth, with your amazing composure.
Beth just isn't feeling good about anything in this house.
Oh, and you're at -1 because of your condition.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
We do have some boons out there if you'd like to use some boons.
Yep, we got 3 major boons, which would add 2 dice to the roll.
Can I just try to reroll 1?
Yep, that's a minor boon.
Yeah, okay. No, it's a fail.
All right. At the realization that it does appear to be human flesh and very cult-ish, Beth continues to lose her cool a little bit, and immediately starts thinking the absolute worst. And because of the nature of this one, we're going to say that Beth feels a slight twitch of madness as well. So we're going to give you a maddened condition. That'll give you a -1 on any social checks until you choose to fail a social check.
It's going real well.
Oh, going great.
I would like to try and cheer up Beth. Beth, why are fences terrible villains?
I don't know why.
Because they always get foiled.
Can I voluntarily take a condition from that? Because it's the worst.
Sure.
I mean,
You
I'm
can-
not actually going to, but seriously.
Yeah, I mean, you can voluntarily take a condition to have a -1 on any check involving Mark until Ollie actively tells a pun.
Sure. Why not? Just like, oh, God.
So is this pentagram across the entire basement area, or is it confined to some place?
It's not across the entire basement area, but it is in the largest open space. Kind of looking around, you can see a spot where somebody was clearly sitting, standing, or kneeling, because there isn't a whole lot of dust there. The pentagram itself does appear to be drawn with the same blood that you saw upstairs.
But still no body.
Still no body other than the very large piece of flesh in the middle that's been scrawled in it.
Yeah. So, and probably, Ollie, the more he gets a look at it, the more he's like, okay, there's a chance that these kids went a little far in trying to set this up. I think he probably still doesn't think that like, someone's been killed. But it's like at this point, they're talking about like leaving pieces of animals around, and that's gross. So, we'll definitely take exhaustive video of it. Because like cruelty to animals is a crime. So I think he's starting to realize that this is potentially a crime scene. So he's going to take and like be cautious and like switch the settings to turn off, like whatever identifying things that he can, like metadata, like do one that has some of the metadata removed and just do like a quick, like no voice clip.
Yeah.
In case he wants to send, in case like specifically if he wants to send something to the cops without like identifying himself or his friends.
Definitely.
Without touching the pentagram itself, because that's just icky, I would like to lean in close and try and see if the skin has had hair shaved off, if it could be an animal skin of some kind, or whether it's...
Sure. Give me an investigation and wits. And obviously you can use willpower boons to boost that if you'd like.
That would be a failure, and I would like to use a minor boon in order to bump my 7 up to an 8.
Sure. Yeah, so you're leaning in to kind of look at it, and as you're doing that, you kind of smudge the blood on the pentagram a little bit with your foot, and it gets on your shoe, which you kind of like, darn it, and you kind of curse yourself as you're looking. You don't notice any significant hair on the flesh in the pentagram, but you can tell by the way it's kind of propped up that however it was removed from its host was done less than surgically. Like there's bumps underneath it where there's more muscle tissue than others. So like it looks lumpy, but it's because of the way in which it was extracted.
That is disgusting.
Very much so.
So first of all, I'm going to try and get the blood off of me now from where I touched the pentagram.
And how are you doing that?
I don't think I brought any water with me. So I take it this is on my knee or something.
It's just like on your shoe. Like you were leaning forward and you kind of like lost your balance, so you had to stumble a little bit. So your foot just like shuffled into the line of blood that was drawing the pentagram.
Well, I don't want to be treading evidence around the crime scene or anything, so I'll probably take off my shoes, and I will now be walking around in socks and
Okay.
hopefully not step on any splinters or whatever.
Absolutely. Beth, what are you doing while everybody else is poking around?
Standing by the exit way and making sure that the rapier is at its handy because there's creepy things going on.
Yeah, a lot of creepy and overall unpleasant things. Yeah, Mark, you're able to get your shoe off, no problem. The floor is very cold. It is kind of like a very old cement, so it's not like you're walking on dirt, but it's not a smooth finished cement either. So you feel the texture through your socks as you're walking around.
Nasty. So is this just a one-room basement, or is there stuff in a doorway or anything in the corner?
Yep, just a one room. So it's just the one large room. The stairs kind of come down, and then there's this large open space where the pentagram is, and then there's shelves of what probably once contained a lot of canned goods and general cheeses and larder type items.
I suppose we could look up what that pentagram means on the internet, but I don't want that in my search history. What if the police ask us what we were doing?
Use a private tab.
Yeah.
And then just close it after.
All right. I shall use a private tab to look up human sacrifice.
Do we know anyone who knows about the occult?
I don't know. Does anybody have any contacts or resources who knows anything about the occult?
I have 2 points in contacts, but I was imagining when I took it out that would be people from around the gym that I met when training to be a boxer. So maybe
you might have met them there. Maybe one of them knows something about the occult that they mentioned afterwards. Sure. Tell us a little bit about him or her.
I think that one of the other boxers, that's my gym teacher, also teaches, who's probably a better boxer than me, in fact, has a bit of an interest in historical witch burnings. And they've probably looked through old books and stuff like that. So nothing very modern, but they probably know something or know where to look.
Yeah, you mentioned to everybody your boxing partner, Jonathan, who kind of has a fancy for old witch burnings and might know something about human sacrifice. Whether or not you declare this as human sacrifice, I'll leave up to you. But you name drop them as somebody that the lot of you could go and speak to and get some questions answered.
Yeah, I don't really want to be... I've already called Ollie once, but I don't really want my call history to be here, I think we ought to visit Jonathan in person if we do go.
Yeah. Question, are the runes like Viking runes? Like Futhark?
No.
I mean, I wouldn't be able to read it, but people, a bunch of people in the community have tattoos of Viking runes and stuff like that. So I'm just wondering if those runes are recognizable from just in that kind of popular culture context.
Yeah, no. And you definitely kind of lean into some of the pop culture stuff that you're aware of from some of the underground websites and stuff that you've seen. And the runes that you're seeing don't look familiar. which for you is almost even more intriguing because like you've seen a lot of weird stuff.
It could also just be made up.
Also could be made up.
But if you were a kid and you were trying to fake it, you would probably just draw from your corpus of popular culture. So yeah, he's starting to get concerned. We should probably like not be here because there's a chance this is a crime scene. Let's go grab your friend Jonathan and see if he knows anything. Maybe like not show him the pictures because they're kind of gross. I tell you what, you drive and I'll just sketch out like the runes and like this is what we saw and not show him the pictures.
Let's go visit Jonathan then.
All right. And we kind of cut and fast forward to later that evening where you're meeting Jonathan. Where? Mark, where's a good place to meet Jonathan?
Well, the gym is open 24 hours a day. Obviously, not all the staff. There's only probably one person on desk. So I think I could phone Jonathan and ask them to meet me there.
Okay.
And, I'd have to somehow sneak in Ollie.
I can go to the gym. Oh.
Jonathan, it's good to see you again.
Yeah, you too. What's happening?
We've just been doing a bit of I've been exploring, Actually, when we were doing that, we saw something a little bit odd,
I mean, you gotta define odd, man.
I mean, not like odd, but like odd. Very odd. There was like this, there was this pentagram, right? And there were these shapes, these runes. We drew them for you. We'd like you to have a look, see if you know them.
Sure, I can take a look. And Ollie, are you just showing like a still shot?
No, I'm sure I've sketched it out because I don't want to show him the pictures.
Got it.
Because Beth freaked out from seeing it, and I don't want this dude to freak out too.
That's a good point. As you're showing him the runes that you've sketched out, for a minute he's looking at it, he's like, what is this? Like he doesn't get what he's looking at, and then he sees a couple that Oh. Where did you say you saw these?
In a basement. In an abandoned house.
We shouldn't be talking about this here.
That'd make me feel good.
Did you want to meet up somewhere else?
Yeah, meet me at the park downtown, midnight.
So that's like super sus, Jonathan, right? You know that.
I know it seems super sus, but also it's going to be the safest time and place for us to talk about it.
Okay.
I'm sorry, but you're going to have to trust me on this one. And he literally just like hands you his wallet to try and get you to trust him. Be like, I want this wallet back, so I need you to show up.
Oh. That makes me feel better. It's a little weird. You're an intense dude.
He does come across as super intense. Like he went from like super chill to, you can tell that he's kind of freaked out by what you just showed him. And he wants you to absolutely take him seriously.
Okay. Cool.
He is 100% going to murder us.
could probably kick his ass. I mean, we really do need to set up some lessons that you like. Oh, put up your dukes kind of boxing stuff just is not gonna fly on this.
I'm going to make it one day. I am going to be.
Yeah.
I'll be on TV. People will know my name.
I mean, maybe. I'm just saying, throw a little Krav Maga in there, maybe some Muay Thai. You'd be a lot more effective at protecting yourself.
So that does give each of you probably about 5 hours before you're going to meet up with Jonathan in the park later. Is there anything you'd like to do in the meantime?
Yeah. Hey, if we're gonna be up late, let's get some coffee. So head over to a Starbucks or something, and like log in to the Starbucks Wi-Fi, then a VPN, then set up a burner email, then edit the little clip to make sure there's no digital fingerprints, and then send it to the police, like see something, say something line.
Yeah, go ahead and give me a computer and resolve.
Okay. That will be minor boon to turn a 7 to an 8. For one success.
All right, one success. So you do a smooth job of cleaning up all of the digital fingerprints on it. But as you're going through your video, you also are noticing things in the video that you didn't notice when you were standing in the space.
Mm-hmm.
When you were up in the attic, you see a blurred image that looks like a woman in a very fine evening gown standing next to one of the old chests, beckoning you towards her. And then when you're downstairs, you see what appear to be two very old looking doctors standing around a surgical table right next to the pentagram. Again, kind of blurred and hazy in your video, but they are unmistakable.
Okay. So this is super weird. Mark?
Yeah.
So there's this whole thing where like you don't see or hear ghosts, but then if you record, you can see and hear them, right? Like video cameras and microphones can pick up things that the human body can't. Is that a thing?
Yeah, I heard that.
So I think we have like ghosts like on video.
That's super weird.
Because, I mean, look, I'm not a big believer in that stuff, but I'm not aware of any way. Like, I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, well, somehow the GoPro is faulty. And because of the fault, it has weird images in it. That's not how technology works. I mean, I'm not a believer, but I'm also not one of those dummies in horror movies that when faced with evidence is like, oh, no, clearly there's some even more irrational explanation. So something super weird is happening. Do I think it would be a good idea to... Yes. So the scrubbed clip with a description and address. And it's just like, hey, concerned citizen, don't want to be involved, but saw this in the basement. Clearly it's messed up. You guys should go check it out. And then not that part, not the basement, but the part with... No, actually, some of the basement. Not the same footage. Like anything that shows the close-up that I sent to the cops, I'm gonna trim out. But the lady in the attic and the 2 doctors, I will just slam cut that into like a 5-minute TikTok and do no voiceover, just like script cards. It's like, hey, we were in this spot, we saw some weird stuff. If anyone knows anything about this kind of stuff going on, hit me up in the comments.
Yeah, for your TikTok post, go ahead and give me a expression, and I don't know. You think that's more presence or manipulation? I mean, what kind of
I think it's presence
response are you submitting? Yeah,
because I'm being sincere. Does my dot in fame?
Oh yes, absolutely.
So
Yeah.
would that add a die, or would it just make it possible?
That'll add a die.
Okay. So presence 1, 2, 3.
I did have a question. How many of the kids at the school originally went missing?
So you are only aware of one going missing that caused the high school to shut down for the day. Again, based on 2 old ladies talking over brunch.
2 successes.
2 successes. Okay. All right. Anything else you are doing before going to meet Jonathan in the park later?
How do you clear conditions?
So conditions clear for both of these conditions by choosing to fail, basically without rolling a roll for that scenario. So for your conditions, Sin, you're looking at choosing to fail a social interaction and then choosing to fail a mental check.
Okay.
You know, fences can't get stung by bees. They always carry appies with them.
I had a
Just 5 minutes of silence at the table, just like, wow. Anyway, hey, you guys want to? I mean, you can come hang at my spot if you want to.
Sure.
We can like search online and see if we can find anything. Just do a kind of hangout search online montage.
Yeah, we don't want to do that in public where people could see over our shoulders.
Right. And now you're going to have to, you guys can climb okay, right? We'll see.
Yeah.
As you're all leaving Starbucks, you see a good number of squad cars. We'll say 6 lights going, sirens blaring, just like speeding down the road.
Well, past the Starbucks or towards it?
They're going past you toward one of the residential neighborhoods.
Maybe we follow that. Can you follow without like looking like you're following, Mark?
I have drive 0, so yes, I can.
Oh, I can't drive either. Beth, can you drive? Are you a driver? I mean, drive,
no.
and for context, drive 0 means you're just like a typical person, right?
You are not skilled at doing a chase.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure Carrie was our getaway driver.
Great.
Sure was.
Carrie is at some sort of party or something right now. Well, that's fine. Whatever. We'll just try to be like
We can probably track
casual.
them.
Yeah. Let's just be casual. See if we can't follow him.
Yeah, and you can kind of without too much undue stress. I mean, Joliet's not super big, right? I mean, it's a large town, but it's not a lot going on. And 6 squad cars moving together make a lot of noise, so it's really easy to find them. And as you kind of identify where they're at, as you get closer, you can see that they've actually roped off a little over a whole city block is in a residential neighborhood. They want no traffic in or out. Basically like a whole street, and then they're blocking off the side streets and a couple alleys as well. So whatever is going on, they don't want anybody in or out.
Cool.
Ollie, do you think you could sneak past the cordon and see which building it's in? That way we could go around the back at some point where it's safer.
So I will reach in my bag and pull out my alternate reality Uber Eats hat, because it's one of my many jobs is, you know, occasionally doing, you know, pick up so like Shipped or Instacart or whatever.
Yeah.
Insta Shipped. And so I'll pull it on and I'll just approach the cordon looking upset, looking confused, and say, "Hey, I got a delivery in here. What's going on?"
Crime scene. Nobody in or out.
So is it like the whole block? Because my delivery is just like on the far end. It would be okay if I like went around and just like came into that one house?
No, you're gonna have to take that food back. And this is clearly like the officer who's talking to you is clearly just like a regular like rookie on the job. But you can tell that somebody has put the fear of God in him. Like nobody's getting past him willingly.
Is there something that we should be worried about, officer? As I am very charming and also very cute, in case it matters. By which I mean I have the merit that makes me very cute.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, you know, you're a good looking person. Go ahead and give me a manipulation and
Not presence.
No, because you're trying to get him to change a stance. So manipulation, and we'll say persuasion.
Okay. Does my cuteness count?
Not in this situation.
I'm gonna use a major. I'm gonna use a major boon. I'm gonna use a major boon.
Boon. Okay, fine.
For a couple extra dice. Which gets ooh. Still 2 successes.
All right, 2 successes.
They were both 10s, but I didn't roll a success on the follow up.
Yeah, that's fine. Success is still success. The officer says there's a active crime scene right now. Nobody in or out until we know the area is secured. So I cannot, in good conscience, let you pass.
But he's not giving me any additional information about like what it is, though.
I can't give you any more information. That's all the information I've been given because right now this scene is very active.
Okay. Well, hopefully it wasn't.
He tries to stress those words.
Okay. So hopefully it wasn't my customer. All right. Well, stay safe, officer.
You too. Have a good night.
Cool. So I'll come back around the corner to the car and go, okay, so it's an active crime scene. Dude was like, it's super active, which means there's like, they think it's like danger or something. Do we want to try to sneak in? It seems a little risky, but
I mean, if
we can drone this bee. What am I thinking? All right, pull around like into an alley, like a half a block away.
Yeah,
I'll pull out Dottie the drone, and because and I mean, cops are used to this because this is the thing that happens. So I'm less concerned that, and they might find it annoying, but they wouldn't be like, oh my god, there's a drone. Of course, it's a crime scene. So I will set up Dottie to go fairly high, just kind of get a little bit of a bird's eye view of the block and see like what house they're concentrated at, like what's going on. Is the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man forming in the back seat? We have to worry about like dogs and cats living together. I don't know.
Yeah, and your drone goes up, and you get a pretty good view very quickly of those items. So you can see that on a secondary count, there's actually 8 squad cars within this like 2-block radius. They all seem to be focused on 2 houses. One in particular seems to be just a single-story ranch, just one house off of the corner of this intersection. You can see what looks to be an unmarked vehicle outside of the house. You're guessing probably detectives asking questions of neighbors. And you don't see any of the officers moving in or out of the house. You do see a couple standing outside it, and you even see what appear to be, from what you can see, in usual American police fashion, a couple officers taking up sniping positions pointed at that house.
Ooh. So like it's like a fugitive situation, or maybe not a kidnapping. What's it called? A hostage situation.
That's your initial hunch, is that it's a hostage situation, just based on the amount of activity happening. But everybody also looks unsettled.
Is Ollie looking at this through goggles? Is this like a...
Oh no, I can feed it to my phone. Yeah, so you guys can see it. Probably have like an iPad Mini, a couple of generations old.
How far is this place from anywhere else? The meeting spot or the mansion?
From the mansion, you're probably about like a 15-minute drive, say like 5 miles across town. You're literally in the middle of a residential neighborhood. This is just another, mom and pop neighborhood area.
Cool. So this is kind of messed up, but nothing obviously related to the weirdness.
Nothing obvious that you're picking up, other than everybody seems a little unsettled. Like even the officer you were talking to, like something seems off, but you can't put your finger on it.
I mean, if this is like the entire police department is on this case, then they're probably not going to look into the mansion body.
Well, it's 8 officers. There's a lot more than 8 officers in Joliet. Are there any? So the one house that they seem to be most fixated on, are there any officers in the backyard?
There's one officer in that backyard, and then there's one officer in the adjacent backyard.
Okay.
It sounds like from the little bit of chatter and movement you can see from your drone that they're using this secondary house to position at least one of the snipers in.
Okay. Yeah, camera went to sleep for a second. It'll come back on. I would say there's not really a way to get the drone down then and get a look, like scan past the windows without a cop hearing it. Like it's small, so they might not see it in the dark, but they would certainly hear the whirring. So I can't think of a way that we can get additional intel without having them realize that there's a drone, and they probably won't take a shot at it, but we certainly don't want them to suddenly think something else is going on and then start these things don't have infinite range, so we don't want to alarm them any further. And drones are expensive, and I don't want a sniper to take it out just in case. So yeah, maybe, I don't know.
Beth, Mark, what are you saying, thinking as Ali's conveying everything that he's witnessing through the drone?
I think that if Ollie were to do a drive-by with the drone, the police might think it's somebody inside the house trying to scope out their positions. They would almost certainly try and they would follow the drone to see where it lands.
Yeah.
And then we would, be arrested or whatever.
Yeah.
Would a cat be able to get in unscathed?
Oh, absolutely. There are outdoor cats all over in Joliet.
Can you turn into a cat, Beth?
No,
That'd be pretty cool.
but I can train a cat.
Okay, so we'll put a pin in this. And then you'll spend the next 3 years training a cat, because everyone knows training cats is easy.
Just point a laser at the cat flap in that house.
Oh, we could affix a laser to the drone, and the drone can make a little laser point on the cat flap, and then the cat can that if we had like 6 months to set up this Looney Tunes nonsense, we could probably make it happen. I suggest we just bounce. The cops seem to have this under control, unless you have like 3 cats in your bag, Beth, that are already trained.
I want to look up the news reports, if there are any so far, about the situation, see if they've got any more information there.
Yeah, you're cruising through and you find a police scanner channel for Joliet. And there's a whole lot of chatter going on for this particular one. It sounds like they're being very coded in their chatter on the location, but you can pick up from what is being communicated that there are 2 dead bodies and no suspects on the scene.
If there are no suspects on the scene, then they're definitely taking names and pictures of people who inquire at the perimeter.
Yeah. Thanks. That makes me feel awesome.
I think we should leave.
Yeah, let's bounce.
All right. You all leave the crime scene and you meet up with Jonathan a little after midnight in the park downtown.
And are there any vampires lurking about looking to rip our throats out now that Patsy has lured us away?
None that display themselves as vampires, no. You do see some folks from the community college already in costumes walking around, heading off to house parties and things. So you do see a good number of vampires and zombies and scantily clad nurses and things, but nothing overtly sinister.
But Jonathan is off by himself somewhere in public.
Jonathan is sitting on a park bench. There is a fountain approximately 20, 30 feet nearby. There's a handful of other benches around that fountain. But otherwise, he's just kind of sitting quietly by himself, scrolling through his phone as he waits for you to show up.
Sure. Hi, Jonathan. It's good to see you.
You too, Mark.
So, what was it that you couldn't tell us in the gym?
So you know that, like, I'm interested in, like, witchcraft and a lot of, like, weird stuff. I need to know where you saw those symbols.
I mean, yeah, you told me about your trip to Massachusetts the other day. But, well, I mean, we weren't somewhere strictly legal, I didn't just say that. We were somewhere. I don't know where we were, and I don't really want to get into it, mate.
I get that. I do. I'm just concerned for you because those kinds of symbols, especially three of them are the kinds of symbols that I've only seen in stuff around Salem and like some specific rituals and stuff that I've read about. So, I've got some concerns.
Let's just say it was here in town. So we were looking. We thought that the kid who had disappeared from the high school, like maybe was like setting up a prank or something. So we looked at some likely venues for that and found that in the basement of one of them. To let you know, already sent some info to the cops so they could check it out because it was clearly potentially a crime scene. And also look, okay, so I was filming like in the attic and stuff like that, and then I'll pull up some show some stills of like this old lady was not in the attic when I was up there. I did not see her, but clearly she was on my GoPro. And I did not share this with the cops, but this is doctors. The whole point is, if this turns into a thing, you don't know anything about it.
I don't want to know anything about it, and hearing it, I don't want to be anywhere in town. So those symbols are, as I've read about them, they're part of some old rituals to bring things into our world that aren't normally here. So, like, if you actually have footage of ghosts on film, like, that's the least of our worries from the way these rituals are supposed to work.
Are they common, do you know, in this witchcraft sort of? Is this the sort of thing that people try to do a lot, or?
It's not the kind of thing you can just like stumble on at the library, man. Like, these are the kind of rituals, like, the book that I read them in, I acquired while I was visiting Salem, right? Like, these are old fucking rituals that people don't just stumble on. Like, they find them or we'll say they create them anew through trial and error. Like, high schoolers ain't gonna be pulling this nonsense.
You think somebody might try another ritual soon?
Well, if you're telling me you found this at a crime scene and you felt compelled to send pictures to the cops, that doesn't bode well.
Well, so, okay. There also, like right after we sent it, like not enough time for them to have reacted. We followed some cop cars over to whatever neighborhood, and they had cordoned off an entire block. And apparently they found a couple of bodies, but no suspects. So like this ritual or whatever thing, like, clearly there wasn't like Cthulhu in that basement. So whatever they did there wasn't sufficient. Is it the kind of thing that has to escalate? Like, they have to kill more people or do more rituals or do a ritual in like in a specific spot around the town to make a super pentagram, like that episode of Buffy, or like, how does this work?
I mean, it could be a number of different things, guys. I mean, it depends on what they're trying to bring through. I mean, historically, from the stuff I've read, some people try to just bring back loved ones. Others are trying to bring in, I mean, honestly, the devil is what it's always referred to. But, I mean, it could be anything, just somebody else to, enforce their will on others. So we don't know what somebody or somebodies are trying to bring in to this world.
But it's something that like a person could do. Because it
could be a person.
Yeah, in the basement there was like one spot where someone was sitting, It wasn't like there was a big group of people.
Okay, well, if it's one person, that's only vaguely reassuring that we only need to find one person.
So you know all this spooky stuff. Who else do you know that's into the spooky stuff? Like, who else do you know that's into the spooky stuff that gives you a bad vibe?
I mean, Emily's a little off, but I wouldn't say that she gives me a bad vibe. She's just the only other person in town I normally talk to about this stuff.
We should probably talk to her, don't you think?
I mean, she's going to be the next best one with information. After that, we're going to Chicago.
Huh. Well, I wish I could say this was helpful. I mean, sorry, I don't mean to be rude. This is helpful, but like not like in a way that makes me feel better.
Yeah, I wish I felt better too. I wish you were telling me that you like found these in a book somewhere and not I had a crime scene.
Well, I mean, I don't know if it's an actual crime scene. I mean, we thought it was probably a crime scene, so we reported it to the cops. But if someone was really doing some sort of ritual and hacking up pieces of people to use in that's probably a crime.
Yeah, that's accurate. Yeah, okay, let's all of us get some sleep tonight. Mark, why don't you and your friends let's just meet at the McDonald's on the corner of Baker tomorrow, and we'll give Emily a call. We'll see what else we can figure out. I think right now I need some sleep.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Cool.
So the moment Jonathan is away, I'm going to turn to Ollie and Beth and say, we should stake out the house where the ritual has taken place. Because if they want to do something again, then they might go back there. And if they don't, then they're probably going to want to clean up their mess.
But the cops are going to be there. We told the cops to go there.
Yes, we did.
Is there a water tower or other? I'm trying to think of like, is there a way to get a vantage point on the mansion?
Yeah. There's a hill nearby, so I mean the town itself isn't flat, so
Yeah.
there is a hill with another suburb area up top, so you can go up there and have a vantage. You could also use the water tower in town if you wanted to then like go up there and use your drone to get over.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Well, did Ollie ever close the window behind them when they went in? Or is the inside area of the house still accessible to the drone?
I think he would have closed it just to not leave evidence. And you know, flying a drone, I mean, it's radio controlled, so like moving it like at a distance in the house, it would probably there's some chance that I would lose contact with it and it would crash, and then someone would find my drone laying in the middle of a crime scene. So maybe we let's post up somewhere where we can get I'm sure someone has some binoculars or something. But I got a drone. Someone's probably got some binoculars, and
Sure.
we can camp out, post
Absolutely.
up, and do a little snooze, nap and watch kind of rotation, just to see if first of all find out if the mansion has been marked off as a crime scene. Oh, that's an idea. If the mansion hasn't been marked off as a crime scene, they're probably not going to come at like 2:00 at night, especially if they've got something big going on. So it's like the perfect opportunity for the spooky miscreant to come back and do some weird stuff. So yeah, so we drive by it and then we make a decision on what we do.
All right.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
At this point, I've got to take care of my dog real quick. So let's take a quick 5-10 minutes for everybody to grab some water, buy a break, whatever we need. And then we'll come back and we'll rejoin our group as they're staking out the mansion.
Cool. All right, we'll be back in a couple minutes, everyone. And we're back.
All right, welcome back, everybody, as we are rejoining everyone. My name's Earthos. We're going through a Chronicles of Darkness game where our party of Ollie, Mark, and Beth are investigating what started as a missing high school student, now potentially a number of murders that they have not been involved in, technically.
Yeah, we are not suspects.
While the stakeout is happening, I thought it might be interesting to break into the school and find out where the student lives, the one who went missing.
Yeah, excellent. Okay. Is anybody else going to the school to break in?
Yeah.
Because they're really close to each other.
Mm-hmm.
So why don't we?
Let's do the drive-by first, and then when we post up, we can split up.
Or how about this? We can drive by, make sure nothing weird's going on. Like, because like if the cops are there, then we don't have to worry about anything like that. But if the cops aren't there, then we can find a spot to put a camera so we can watch it remotely while we go to the school.
Sounds like a plan.
Cool. Because at this point, splitting the group seems less. Because in real life, you cover more ground when you split people because there aren't ghosts and devil worshippers and stuff. But since in this world there clearly is some other stuff happening, Ollie's less likely to want to have everyone off by themselves. Oh, I think you're on mute now. Or at least I can't hear you.
In that case, we need to find a high spot which we can place cameras. Are there any overlooking buildings?
Not in the immediate neighborhood. In the immediate neighborhood, the mansion's actually one of the tallest ones at the 2 stories with the attic. But you can go, again, up into a neighboring neighborhood that's actually up on a hill. That's going to be the closest. Otherwise, the water tower is a couple neighborhoods away, and you could then use binoculars or a drone to kind of keep an eye on it from there.
Is there like a tree I could climb and just like zip tie a drone into?
Oh yeah. There are plenty of trees that you could climb up into, and you could get at least like level with the second story for sure.
Cool. Let's do that. Just looking for a spot that I can like post up a drone. Maybe not even zip tie. Just like wedge it in, so that we have a remote view. Yeah.
You get a drone kind of tied onto a branch and secured. And the weather is actually pretty nice tonight, so unless like unusual storm comes through, it's not going anywhere. Cool. But it gives you a clear view of the front of the house and kind of like around the corner a little bit.
I'm actually looking for the back of the house because my assumption is that they probably didn't use the front door.
Okay. Sure. Yeah, we can say it's the back of the house instead. That's fine.
Or even just like we could even stash it in the bushes by the back of the house. Just in the hopes that if someone comes in, we'll catch them on video. They might be dumb and not have a mask on, and we could at least have a clue for who it is.
Sure. Yeah, you could definitely do either the front or the back. Just the way those doors are set up on the house, it'd be really hard to be able to capture both with the same camera.
Yeah. I mean, you guys tell me if I'm wrong, but if I were a weird cultist trying to bring Cthulhu into the world, I probably wouldn't just like stroll up to the front door. But then again, I'm not a weird cultist, so maybe my insight is off.
Are you implying Mark and Beth are weird cultists?
No, I just don't know much about it. Mark clearly is a true believer, so I will defer to Mark's judgment.
And I've been right. I'm clearly very intelligent.
Yeah, right.
So, Beth,
Yep.
given that this is a school and there are hundreds of windows, where do you think it's most likely that one has been accidentally left open by some students or other?
Probably in the art wing, art hallway sort of deal, you know. It's around this time that, you know, those art teachers like to make the students do pottery or whatnot, and they like to open the window to let it dry and get all the dust out because it's very stuffy in there. So maybe one of the art room windows are open.
Also, when I was in high school, my art teacher for sure smoked weed in his office.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, art teacher. Yeah.
Yeah,
Definitely.
that is true for Ollie and for me.
Yeah, and you absolutely go and you can find some doors to art rooms open. Like one, there's still like some paintbrushes hanging out on the windows so that were left there to dry from the previous day.
Cool. So I'll do the super special Batman moves, and then open a door for Beth and Mark to come in.
All right. Yeah, you give in. You get everybody inside the very dark school building without setting off any of the alarms.
So, student records are probably digital nowadays. So, there must be an office somewhere where administration is carried out. Perhaps near the front entrance?
Yeah. So who's good at hacking computer systems? I mean, I can.
Carriers.
Okay, good, great. Too bad she's with her boyfriend or whatever. Carrie.
I
Go ahead.
have one dot in computer.
I mean, so do I. Anyway, we'll figure it out.
Yeah, and Beth's worked in this school before, so Beth kind of knows roughly where the administrative staff is going to be talking about keeping all of their stuff. So working together, you can definitely figure that out a little bit. So but there are like some passwords and stuff to go through. So I think we're probably looking at computer and intelligence. Probably. I'll let you both roll.
Oh, yikes!
And we'll say we're looking for a combined 6 successes. So let's see how far you get in 20 minutes.
How many boons do we have?
Well, hold on. So, because this is to find out which student is missing, right?
So this is the whole process of figuring out what password the secretary uses, and then finding out which student was the one who didn't show up and where do they live. So it's all of that together. So it's basically 2 successes for each one of those.
Okay.
And you and Sin can combine your successes for that 6 total.
Yeah.
We've got 2 major boons. And it just might take a while, right? So if it might take you 2 hours, you might get it all done in 40 minutes.
Yeah.
If I use a minor boon to bump a 7 up to an 8, I'll have 2 successes.
Oh.
All right, so that already gets you the password.
Cool. And I get. I will do the same thing to get 1 success.
Okay, so that's 3 successes total. So in 20 minutes, you are able to figure out the secretary's password. It is Pomeranian 4, which makes all the sense in the world because she has a Pomeranian. And you're trying to figure out which student it is based on attendance patterns and kind of what you can recall. Give me another round of rolls for the next 20 minutes.
Well, I suppose they would have looked up the record recently if the student wasn't there.
Exactly.
If it was a point of interest.
Yep. Yeah, and Mark, go and give me an investigation and intelligence while they're trying to crack all the computer files and everything.
Yo. You
One
won't
success.
believe this.
What
Yes.
rolls, I believe.
So my first roll, I rolled 2 10s, rolled again, and have another success. So that's 3 successes for me.
And 1 from me, which gets us
Yeah,
to our
see?
6.
That's beautiful. And Mark, did you have any successes on your investigation?
One success.
Okay. Yeah, so you are able to identify the name of the student as well as their location. So you learn that the name of the missing student is Emily Smith, and she actually lives about 4 blocks from the high school, conveniently also just a block away from the Scott mansion.
Hey, didn't Jonathan say that Emily was the spooky person that he knew? I think he
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
The plot thickens. I'm not sure how, but it does.
Suspicious.
I mean, it's not like Emily is an unusual name.
Does Emily have any records that might indicate bullying or any other interpersonal disputes?
So looking through the physical records, you do notice that Emily was brought in to the principal's office for just like a quick chat. Sounds like she was a high achieving student and was going to be giving some kind of speech at an upcoming festival. You're guessing probably like not quite homecoming, but like a Halloween dance or something, some kind of like celebratory thing. Like, hey, we're all having a great semester. Everybody be safe this year. That sort of thing is like not quite valedictorian, but of that caliber of student.
You know what confuses
But
me?
otherwise clean. Like you're not seeing anything suggesting that she was being bullied or was a bully.
How many parents does she have?
Only one parent. Her records indicate that she's being raised by her father, her mother. There's nothing in her record.
It might be worth going to her house if parents are gone, if they're out searching or whatever. We might be able to get away with it, but if there's a police presence there, then obviously we'd have to pass.
I mean, if we could get in, we could see if she has any spooky how to raise the devil stuff in her room.
Although this connection with Jonathan, I'm starting to wonder what he does.
I know, right? Maybe he's the devil guy. He didn't seem like it. But,
Beth, what do you think we should do?
Yeah, we should probably check out the girls' room.
cool. And then, by the way, I'm periodically checking to see if there's any activity on the drone cam.
Yeah, you don't see anything on the cam itself. The camera shows actually pretty quiet and unsettled, just kind of like a trail cam in the woods.
Yeah.
You are starting to see your phone ping some notifications as people are commenting on your TikTok of the ghosts. Some people are like, oh, super well staged, great Photoshop, bro. And other people are kind of like Mark, like they're all in on the spooky stuff. They want to know where it was at, where they can see the ghosts.
Yeah. And I the only comments I'm making is like, I totally get it, dude. Just like, and if you've got a logical explanation for how something could like if there's radio signal interference, like that's picking up TV or something on a GoPro, please share that information. Cause I'm not even 100% convinced myself. I'm just telling you what is on my camera. So, but no one says, oh yes, I know that place. I was doing a ritual there yesterday.
Yeah. Nobody like, at least in the comments, nobody even seems to indicate that they know where this location is.
Okay.
You kind of scrubbed it well enough that even some of your fans that you know are pretty tech savvy can't figure out where. So anybody who hasn't been in that house won't be able to identify it.
Yeah. And most of my followers aren't from this area.
Right.
Cool. Well, that was I mean, it was a Hail Mary, didn't pan out, but we'll see.
I would like to wipe down for fingerprints before we leave.
Yeah.
Sure. Are you wiping down your fingerprints so they don't show, or are you looking for other fingerprints?
I'm going to try and cover the whole group.
Yeah, and I wear gloves. Mostly for climbing, but also it helps with the fingerprints.
Okay. Give me we'll do a subterfuge and wits. Just to make sure you wipe everything down well.
Subterfuge and
Wits.
Wits, please.
Wits.
Or intelligence if you're just like basting stuff in like rubbing alcohol.
Highest I got was a 7, so I'm going to use a minor boon just to bump that up.
Okay. Yeah, you're able to wipe everything down very well. You do get some loose papers and stuff, a little wet, but you know it'll dry on its own without concern.
And the camera feed should still be visible from the house that the girl lives in because it's only 2 blocks away, 4 blocks.
Yeah.
Yeah. You really get the camera feed, no problem.
Cool.
Then we vamoose.
All right. You head over to Emily's house, and you get outside, and it's a pretty typical house for this kind of neighborhood. So it's a 1-story ranch house, kind of dark siding. The roof is in not exactly disrepair, but probably needs to be replaced in a year or two. There's some nice bushes out front. And you see a lamp on in the front room with the blinds drawn, but you don't see any cars. And this particular house doesn't have a attached garage, it just has an open carport, and there's no car.
If we look up and down the street outside, is there a suspicious sedan type thing that a policeman might use to post up outside?
Intelligence and investigation. Or intelligence and streetwise if you're actually like canvassing the neighborhood for suspicious cars.
Ooh, I've got streetwise. I'll help too. You look that way, I'll look this way.
2 successes.
1 success.
Excellent. You don't see anything that looks suspiciously like an unmarked cop car. You do see 1 streetlight on the corner of the block where Emily's house is that clearly the bulb needs to get changed. It's doing that thing where it flickers like not on a rotation. So clearly like the bulb's dying and it's not quite holding its filament energy the whole time. But otherwise, the block actually looks very quiet. It looks like a typical American suburb the Friday before Halloween.
So, if the garage is open, did you say?
So this house actually doesn't have a garage. So it's basically just the house, and then there's an overhang for the carport, and it's just an open carport. But there's no vehicle in the driveway at all.
An electric carport?
No, just basically just like a roof over a driveway kind of thing. But yeah, it's completely open.
Then we should try and break in, I suppose.
Or maybe we'd knock in case there's someone in there.
Well, that's less fun, but it is sensible. So I'll knock first before we do anything.
Maybe Beth, because Beth could be like
a teacher
who was worried because some random dude showing up at middle of the night with a single dad. I mean, who knows? Maybe he's got a shotgun.
I mean, that does sound very Midwestern America.
Yeah, I know, right? So, yeah, Beth.
Yeah.
go up and knock, and if someone, if like her dad is in there, just be like, I'm sorry, I just couldn't sleep. I was hoping that Emily had made it back or something. I mean, it's really inappropriate, but it's not the same as some random dude going, I'm here for Emily. So
A little less creepy.
Okay. Beth will go and ring the doorbell if there's a doorbell and then knock.
Sure. Yeah,
Ben is still holding
ring
her
the
sword.
doorbell.
right, sort out.
Of course. Yeah, you ring the doorbell. You don't hear anything. You wait a few minutes, and then you knock, and you knock again.
Cool.
Silence.
Right. I'll vault the fence and back,
Sure.
and coming up to you said it's 1 story, so I'll
Just a one-story ranch.
check the back door. If it's locked, check windows.
All the doors and windows are locked and latched.
Front door is also locked.
Yes.
Roof is in disrepair. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like it's gonna need to be replaced. Probably, you're guessing this next summer, like that kind of disrepair. So it's not like active leaks or holes, but it's just an old roof by maintenance standards.
Is there one of those light sign things that says this house is protected by a security system?
No.
Also, fun fact, most of the ones that have those signs aren't actually protected. They just put the sign up. Things you learn when you're an urban explorer. So I have to imagine, though, that there's a similar kind of like ventilation grate up like into the attic space.
Yep.
So I'll just kind of hang over the side and say, how bad do we want to get in?
We're only here for the night.
Cool.
I don't think that any damage would be traced back to us.
Yep.
If
And
you did want to
I got
enjoy
gloves.
it.
I got gloves and a crowbar, man. This is my jam. So yeah, I'm gonna use the crowbar to kind of pry off the frame of the vent, and then shimmy in to the attic.
Yeah. Yeah, and you're able to do that no problem with your crowbar and your leverage and your skills. You're able to get that vent off. It's a little bit of a tight squeeze. Obviously, those vents aren't made for people to squeeze through, but it's enough you can manage it. And you get into the attic, similar to the one at the Scott Mansion. It's mostly unfinished, so there are some boards crossing the rafters that they've put some boxes and stuff on. But you can kind of go through and you can see where there's a little door that opens up down into the house itself.
Okay. I will. I'm having visions of like a gun pointed in my face as soon as I pop it down. So I'm being very cautious as I apply a little bit of weight to push this thing down.
You push it down. The house seems very quiet. There's the one very small lamp on an end table in the living room. It is the only light in the house. And you hear just the faintest tinkle of a little bell as you see a black and brown striped cat walk down a hallway, but otherwise no sounds in the house.
And of course it says, oh, someone's breaking into the house. Who cares? And
It's
goes
a cat.
about its business.
Cat doesn't care.
Yeah, right. Cool. Then I will go back to probably through the kitchen to the back door and let these guys in.
Okay. All right. Everybody gets access to Emily Smith's house. Again, the house is empty, save for you three. What are you looking for? What is your intentions?
I'm going to toss a room.
First thing Beth does is pick up the cat.
Jeez. Of course.
I'm going to look downstairs and see if she does her homework in, like, a study or whatever. If it's this type of house that has one of those.
Sure. Yeah, you go downstairs and it looks like the basement is actually set up as kind of a living space. So they actually have their TV and entertainment center, everything downstairs in that space. Upstairs is basically just the kitchen, and then you only see 2 bedrooms and a bathroom up there. Very small, modest house. If you're kind of going through an alley, it sounds like you're kind of like gently tossing the place, looking for information.
Yeah.
As you're going through, it looks like if there's somebody other than Emily's father living in this house with them, there's no sign of anybody else. So it's probably just Emily and her dad.
Yeah.
Tossing Emily's room, you see a lot of the usual overachiever type things you'd see in a high school bedroom. Lots of textbooks. You see even some like college level stuff and exam prep material. But what you also find are some books on just weird religious and occult material that kind of spans the gamut. Like some of it seems very almost like fan fiction level material, and other seems almost academic within her room. But other than those like jumping out, nothing seems particularly noteworthy.
But the police haven't tossed this before we were here.
No, there's no indication that police have been to this house.
Huh. Interesting.
I would like to...
Well, it hasn't been 48 hours yet, right?
I'd certainly like to know
Yeah,
whether
no,
or
not
not
yet.
he's tried to report it.
Well, clearly they knew someone was missing because they shut the school down.
Yes.
So
The school shut the school down. I want to know if the police were involved.
I have to imagine that that is a little bit weird, regardless, that someone disappeared and their reaction was to immediately shut the school down.
There is clearly something we're missing somewhere.
Maybe the school is like run by cultists
Could be.
Maybe.
and they shut the school down. But you'd think parents would call the cops or something. Maybe the parents are into it too. Maybe it's the entire town. This is why I don't like thinking about this stuff, because it makes you crazy.
If the school is run by cultists, then that means that the inside person on this team isn't Jonathan, it's Beth.
Beth, are you a cultist?
Not according to my stats.
Okay. I'll accept it. Yeah, so okay, our timeline.
Is there a connection to Jonathan in this house? I want to find that out.
You don't find any pictures of Jonathan, no.
So what do we know? Emily went to school yesterday, technically day before yesterday because after midnight.
Day before yesterday, yep.
Went to school and then just never left.
You know that she didn't make it home.
Didn't make it home.
Yeah, so she was at school on Wednesday, did not return home Wednesday night. School was closed on Thursday.
Because
wee hours of Friday morning.
Yeah, because she disappeared.
But it wasn't a violent snatching because there are no police here.
Yeah.
They would have,
Yeah. And this
Are there?
Go ahead.
Are there pictures of Emily and her dad with the cat?
There's one picture where Emily and her dad were clearly like trying to take like their own version of a selfie. So it's got like that weird like angle that you get when you're doing a selfie, and the cat just like happens to be walking across the frame at the time that they kept. That's the only one where you see all three in the same photo.
Does Beth think that Emily has been turned into a cat?
It's a possibility.
It is not just because there are maybe ghosts doesn't mean that people can turn into cats. I think you have a fixation, but that's a whole other situation. So, to review, Emily goes to school, doesn't make it home. Next day, school shuts down. Enough that the rumor gets around town, but apparently not enough to get the cops involved, which is weird. Although the whole 48-hour thing makes sense. Might just assume. But then why shut the school down? That's the thing. If a kid like leaves school and then goes missing, I can certainly see the school like having an assembly about safety or whatever, but I can't see them closing the school down.
When we were in the mansion and we found 2 sets of blood, and it stuck to my shoe, wasn't it? It was tacky, and that was on the Thursday afternoon. So if she goes missing on the Wednesday, how long does it take blood to dry?
Oh, like hours, not days.
Yeah, that's really what made the blood up on the second story so unusual, is that it hadn't dried.
Yeah. But maybe there was like chemical or magic, I don't know, man. Something that made it weird. Yeah, so.
But if the school was shut down, then they must have known something was happening before she died, unless there was chemicals or magic involved.
Well, are we even sure she's dead? I mean, there's 2 people dead over in that other neighborhood, and there's a chunk of someone or something, but we don't know for sure that's her. It could be, but she could also be the one doing the ritual. It could be someone else.
Well, whoever died, the school was shut down before anybody found out that person had died, because they weren't dead.
Yes. That's a reasonable assumption. So someone at the school that has the power to shut the whole thing down knows a lot more. Maybe knows or suspects more than they ought to.
There are really only 2 people who have the power to shut down the school: the person who's directly in charge of it, and perhaps someone further up in the district.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, principal or superintendent. Yeah, because the superintendent has authority over multiple schools, but as far as we know, it was just that one that was shut down.
Right, just the one school was shut down.
Yeah, but the principal would probably have to clear that too. So there's a lot of bureaucracy that would theoretically be involved. I don't really know. I didn't pay much attention to how my school ran, but it's local government, so it's going to be very bureaucratic. Yeah, I might just kind of wonder if there was something that, whether it's true or not, it's like we got to keep this quiet. Like it was something, like I think if they found a dead body in the school, unless they're all cultists, they would have like just called the cops, and that would make sense why the school was closed. But the whole like, oh, someone is maybe missing, so we're going to close the school, seems like an overreaction. Unless there's something else going on and they know it.
I think a principal could probably tell, if a teacher found the body, then the principal could just say, I'll call the cops, shut down the school, everybody go home. And then they could buy themselves 24 hours, 48.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah,
And before they got suspicious and were like, why haven't the cops interviewed me yet?
Yeah, I think you need to be missing for either 48 or 72 hours before the cops are like, okay, you can file a report.
Yeah, 48 in most jurisdictions in the U.S. But if they find your body, that isn't. I mean, if they think you're dead, that's a whole other situation. Like you're no longer a missing person if they find a piece of your body. But then again, the only reason the cops have to think about a piece of a body is because we sent them an anonymous tip. So who knows? Things might get real tomorrow. God, do we have to go back to the school? Because what we didn't do is we didn't go and look in any of the areas that were closed off during the day.
I suppose if we don't want to go to the school, we could look up the principal on the website and then try to find their home address. But I think
Just go to the
probably
principal's
more
house
like
and
it's
start asking questions.
And then just like wake them up in the middle of the
At
night
5 in the morning.
and then torture them for information. I mean, it's possible.
That is an option.
So, but like looking under the bed, looking for any like loose panels in the wall or loose floorboards or, you know, 4-poster bed that you can screw off the finial, like the typical teenage hiding spots. She's got some books on the supernatural, but she doesn't have like a chest full of obviously sinister stuff.
I'd like to look for
No.
a timetable or diary.
Yeah.
Sure.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead and give me a either intelligence or wits, depending on how gently or brutally you're going through her room with investigation. In terms of the hiding spots, Ollie, you're not finding anything like overtly sinister. Like everything that you're seeing appears to point to Emily having an interest, to an academic desire to know more about the occult and how people actually practiced.
I missed.
Okay.
All right. You don't find any like diary or journal around the room. You do see a note that appears to be kind of hastily scrawled on paper that doesn't match anything else in her room. Like it's just a white crumpled piece of paper. But looking at some of the other articles in her room, it's also a different kind of handwriting. And it appears to be done very quickly. And all it says is either you're in my way or you're at my right hand.
But
That
so
sounds
far
like a threat.
So far, we haven't found anything occultish, have we?
Other than the books.
Yeah, there's some books that talk about it in a very academic sense.
Well, okay. With the gloves, grab that note. Nope, take a picture of the note. In case we like later come across any samples of handwriting or whatever, but this is potentially evidence that could lead the police to the actual culprit, so we don't want to remove the evidence. But it sounds like, okay, so this is a leap. So Emily knows about the occult. Emily's in a position to overhear something or witness something and recognize its meaning. She's in a position to then confront the people about that, maybe out of interest, maybe out of alarm, and that individual or that group of people could be like, okay, look, you're either with us or you're against us, because that's what that means. It's like you have a choice. You can be an obstacle or you can help. So basically, blackmail or extortion.
The mansion is famous, right? And you're a TikToker. Has there been a sort of peak or spike in people making videos about the mansion recently? Is it part of the current zeitgeist?
I can search.
Everything you're searching right now is kind of hard to dig into the zeitgeist too much because you're 3 days before Halloween.
Yeah.
So everybody's looking at haunted houses and corn mazes and spooky stuff. So yeah, there's interest in it, but like you type in haunted house or just haunted in Joliet and you get like 4 pages of search results because the whole freaking town is haunted.
Yeah. But but nothing, like no one has just done a series within the mansion or anything like that.
No, you're not seeing anything, especially within like the content creators that you follow.
Yeah.
Or your group who are doing anything specifically on that mansion.
Okay.
You would be the first.
Cool. All right. So Emily got herself into some sort of trouble and she either decided to help out or they decided that she was an obstacle and took her out. Either way. But where's her dad? I don't know, man. Yeah.
If the house is 4 blocks from the school, then that's not an awful lot of time to disappear, unless she disappeared while she was literally at school, within the grounds.
Or she went there instead of coming home and stayed there, or whatever. I mean, maybe that chunk is her. Gross. Or maybe she joined forces with the devil worshippers. Either way, but nothing here seems to suggest that she was into it beyond just like curiosity. So I think my hypothesis that she saw or heard something and recognized its meaning because of her academic interest, and then got herself into something a little bit too deep, and now is in danger or dead. That's not good. Cool. But I don't think we're gonna beyond this note. I'm not sure. I do think we have to go back to the school because there are all the spots. Didn't you say, Beth, that there were spots that were kind of like roped off or like no go? If you're talking, okay.
Yeah. So I tried to check the boiler room, but the janitor said they locked it.
It would be interesting to ask Jonathan whether or not the ritual has to be taking place underground.
Yeah, but he said he didn't really know. We should definitely talk to Jonathan tomorrow. We need to meet him at McDonald's. Maybe, I tell you what, you guys maybe wait in the car and I'll do a quick, I'll have my phone on me. And I'll even put my GoPro in a head harness thing, head mount, so you can see what I'm saying. But I think it's probably better. I mean, if I get surprised by a security guard, I can get away.
Yes.
But if it's all three of us, then that seems like an unnecessary risk. And if you see on my head cam the hellmouth or something, then you can come in and rescue me with your swords and your, I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ollie sounds very convinced.
I don't know, man. I'm just trying to think. I mean, if something really bad is happening, we've got to take advantage of the fact that we probably won't be able to get into the school again, because the cops are eventually gonna start figuring things out.
So, if we think the principal is involved, then I think we ought to go through his office, and we ought to check out that basement. So that's 2 tasks. Are you comfortable doing them both yourself?
Yeah.
Then we go back to the school.
All right, back.
Unless anybody has anything they wants to do here, quick.
Beth leaves the cat at the house.
I mean, one would hope so.
Actually, if the cat has been left behind and the father is gone at whatever time it is, 3 a.m., then is there an automatic feeder, or I want to know how long he's expecting to be away for.
Oh, that's a good, yeah.
Yeah, you look around. There isn't an automatic feeder. You see just a pair of bowls in the kitchen, one with water, one that appears to have a little bit of kibble still in it for the cat. You're not sure how long it's been there, but it's dry food, so probably not super long.
Okay.
I mean, if we're worried, we can drop the cat off at my house, because
No, we're not stealing the cat, dude. We're not stealing a cat. No. What Mark was saying was that if the dad was like going away for weeks on a business trip, he might have set up, and he expected his daughter to be gone. He might have set up a automatic feeder or put out a bunch of food, but he probably wasn't expecting his daughter to be missing. So there's So it would have been a piece of evidence that like maybe he was planning on being out. Sorry, I'm back.
Welcome back.
It would have been a useful piece of evidence if there was like a long-term planned absence. The fact that he doesn't have an automatic feeder could just mean that he was expecting his daughter to feed the cat, or that he's only gone for the night. We don't know, but it would have been a useful piece of evidence. But no, we're not worried. If you want to put some extra dry food in the cat's bowl, that's fine, but we're not stealing this cat.
Okay.
Is this how you wound up with like 20 cats? You just steal people's cats?
Not all of it.
Oh man. Wow. All right.
You know, sometimes I cat sit and then the people I'm cat sitting for just never come back to pick up their cat.
Okay, as Beth is refilling the cat bowl, if she does so, I would like to wipe down this place for Prince. Although that will be harder.
It will be a little more harder. Yeah, give me we'll do a subterfuge and wits with a -2.
Oof.
Oh, my subterfuge and witch -2 is 0, so
One.
So you get just the one die. 10 is the only one that's going to succeed.
2.
All right. Yeah, you think you do a pretty good job of wiping stuff down. But as you're doing so, you also knock over one of the glasses on the counter, and it shatters on the floor.
Work here is complete. Let's just go.
And then you go to clean it up and you cut yourself and now your blood is everywhere.
Absolutely.
Oh, well.
So.
Look, cats knock over. You guys don't have records, do you?
I do not.
Okay, cool. Well, if someone finds a stray print, it's unlikely to come back to us. And if we ever get asked why there's a broken glass in someone's house, we can say, I don't know, man, do they have a cat? Because cats knock things over. I don't know why we're imagining being questioned by the police all of a sudden. We should probably stop doing crime, but let's go do more crime first.
Yeah, that sounds like guilt.
Yep.
I don't have guilt for breaking into places. I do that all the time. I just usually it's not people's boring houses. It's cool abandoned places. Speaking of abandoned places, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm not insisting that we don't all go in the school. It just seems limiting danger. I mean, but you're adults. You can do what you want, except for stealing people's cats.
Right, but we've broken into 2 places this evening. I think we're probably running low on time.
Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna take the basement and creepy dark areas where there might be signs of supernatural goings on, and if you guys want to search the principal's office, then how about it?
Okay.
All right, so everybody's going back in the school. Ollie is specifically going to the basement and custodial areas.
And any of the areas that I know from Beth were non-admittance yesterday.
Got it. Okay. And then, Ollie, you have the feed to your drone through your phone.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Let's start with Ollie then. So you get into the school again without issue, and you can start poking around in some of the janitorial and custodial areas. And generally, it's exactly what you'd expect for a school. It's very boring and nothing really all that exciting. As you go down into the basement where you can see a lot more storage things, you do find some unusual janitorial supplies in a state of like half use. Like you find a mop bucket that still actually has dirty water in it, and you don't see a drain anywhere. You see some smocks and other like related art supplies hanging around down here, but there's no utility sink to wash them in. And as you're kind of going around and looking at stuff, you feel a little vibration from your phone that it's losing signal.
Ugh. Gross.
What all are you looking for or intending to find while you're down here in the basement?
So anything weird, out of place, but like specifically, is there a room that's been taped off, or is there, anything to substantiate or support the hypothesis that they blocked off this area for a reason? And that reason wasn't just like there are dirty smocks around, but like anything to give insight into why this was, when there was no one here, why they would say no one can go in this area.
Sure. So as you're then going through the basement, it looks kind of like a very large but divided room. Like there's like not exactly a half wall, but there's a space that you could almost put a door in, but it's a little too wide for a door, right? So you just kind of leave that open and you have two separate spaces. And you go through the two, and generally this large divided space just seems to be like a mess heap of storage things, but you are seeing these weird things, right? So the mop bucket and the smocks, and things that make sense in other parts of the school, but they make less sense down here.
Yeah.
And you, like, as you're going through with your headlamp, you see that there is a door. It's painted white, just like the wall, so it kind of blends in a little bit. And you see a door that's closed off of the second part of that divided room. And when you go and you test the door, it's locked.
Yeah, I don't know how to pick locks, but I have a crowbar.
All right, go ahead and give me a strength and larceny.
Not athletics. I'm not trying to like.
Yeah, you can use
okay,
athletics.
Good.
That
I was
works.
gonna say because my strength is not terrible, but I don't have larceny because I am not a criminal. I don't steal stuff.
No, you just break into like 6 buildings in a day.
Yeah, well, okay. Oh. 2 successes.
Excellent. Yeah, you're able to get a good wedge on the crowbar, and you give it a solid kick and just kind of like bust the hinge a little bit where the doorknob would catch.
Yep.
And as it opens, the room in front of you just completely shatters your senses and your mental well-being. The room beyond is fairly small, about 4 foot square. There is a small table against one wall, and the entirety of that table, as well as all 4 walls, are just completely splattered with blood. There's a small drain in the middle of the floor, and you see a number of instruments and tools also splattered along a kind of a metal medical tray alongside that table. Roll me resolve and composure.
Yes. Okay. 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3 successes.
Wow. All right. You maintain your sense of self, but you are also now shaken from just the horror of seeing what you've seen. So this would be a -1 on future mental rolls until you choose to fail one.
Cool. Yeah, that makes perfect sense. But I do have the composure to start recording.
Absolutely.
And I'm not sure who this is for, but I am in the basement of the high school. Too long a story about why we're here. We were worried about what was going on. We had suspicions that something was off with the school, with them closing it, but not apparently notifying the police. Looking for strange stuff, and this is what I found. And then I'll turn around and say, like establishing shot of the broader part of the basement, just so it's like to make it clear that this is a room in that space, not like just some other random room.
Yeah.
Basically, just making it better evidence. Like, so like here you can see, property of Joliet Independent School District or whatever on the bucket, like just trying to call out in a shaky, somewhat panicked voice, anything that I can grab that is obviously places this crime scene within the school, and then just like try to get a nice still pan of the room without going in. Clearly something real messed up is happening here. Yeah. Gross. I'll turn it off, and then I'm as nimbly as I can, but very quickly making my way back up to where I can get cell reception, and then I'm going to, assuming I can do that.
Yeah. You start working your way back to the stairs to try and get some reception back on your phone. Do you close the door to the room behind you as you walk away, or does it stay ajar? Or at least as much as you can close it.
Yeah, I would
crowbarred it open.
Yeah, it's like with the window. I mean, I would close it to the extent that if someone glanced, they wouldn't see it standing wide open. But obviously, anyone who examines it or goes to go in that room is going to see it was busted open.
Okay.
If I was smart, what I would do is I would like take the hinges off and make it look like it was busted from the inside. They'd be like, oh, some demon busted it through. But Ali is not thinking about setting the stage at the moment. He's thinking about getting F out of there. Yeah.
Absolutely. And we'll cut there to Mark and Beth going up to the principal's office, which you also find locked.
So I do not have any larceny skills whatsoever. And so unless Beth does, I think this is going to have to be a brute force type of thing.
Yeah, you can just try and just like kick the door in. That'd be a strength and athletics.
What do you say, Beth?
I have 6 in that.
Oh, okay. For all the catnapping that you do.
Yeah.
So that'd be larceny plus what?
Do you have any lock-picking tools with you?
To me?
Yeah.
No. The 6 would have been strength and athletics.
We thought you meant you had like 6 ranks in larceny. It's like you're like the world's best literal cat burglar. Oh my god, a pun. Haha. I just made a pun, which means that I no longer have a penalty against Twi'lek.
Correct.
Woohoo.
No, I have 0 in larceny.
Okay, so never mind.
You're still stronger than me, Beth, so why don't you go ahead and kick in the door?
She tried, but with a 6.
No, I didn't roll. I have 6 dots.
Oh, 6 die. Oh yeah, you're swole.
Yeah. Jeez. So it is 60 or a 90? It's a 6. That's a 90. Do we have a minor boon available?
I think so.
Can I use 1 minor boon to bump a 7 up to a 8 and have 4 success.
We do not have any minor boons. We do have
Yeah,
two majors, though.
Yeah, you got 2 majors, which will give you 2 dice, or you can use a point of willpower, which will give you 3 dice.
I have 3 successes without bumping the 7 up.
Oh, cool. That works.
Yeah, you kick in the door very silently. You almost shatter the door frame itself. You're using such force, but you kick it open and you don't completely shatter the glass on the door itself, and just kind of make a mess of things. But then you have full access to the principal's office to look around for whatever the two of you intend to find.
So, assuming that there are no cultist robes on the back of the door or demonic figures hissing at us, I would like to go to the desk and look for work orders and see, or whatever paperwork is associated with closing the school, and see who has countersigned it, if anybody has.
Yeah, go on and give me an investigation check. You can use either intelligence or wits.
That would be 3 successes.
Nice. Yeah, you do find some paperwork showing that there's plans for some renovations to the school that was apparently approved through the last, town board meeting or whatever, that the principal had signed off on the latest drawings from the architect. And just some other just like random paraphernalia relating to school business. Nothing really jumping out in terms of being, unusual or occulty in any way, shape, or form. But you also don't see anything indicating a reason for closing the school yesterday.
So, I'm now wondering whether or not the school was closed by magic somehow. Although, of course, I know nothing about magic, so it's not really practical to ask about it. Beth, do you have anything you want to look for?
Would the principal have a computer on his desk?
He does have a computer on his desk, yes.
Can I try to log into it and check their emails to see if maybe they got an email
Sure.
about stuff?
Yeah, give me a computer and intelligence.
And you can use a major boon to add 2 dice to that roll if you would like.
So I rolled a 10 and a 9.
Ooh.
The second roll for the 110 is not a success. Also, that's the 2 from intelligence because I have the -1 from mental skills.
Right. That's still 2 successes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're able to get in. The principal, clearly a very clever chap. His password is 12345.
And it's also written on a yellow sticky note right next to his laptop.
Oh yeah, it's attached to the monitor.
Right.
And you get in and you're able to kind of cruise through emails. You do see actually a couple emails that don't seem to be from anybody within the school district that are separately encrypted and locked behind passwords.
And I try to unlock those.
You can. It will be separate intelligence and computer rolls for each one.
First one got 1 success. second one, also, no, that's a 3. The second one got 0 successes.
All right. The one email that you are able to unlock, the message is unusually cryptic, and the sender's email address doesn't mean anything to you. It just seems like nonsensical characters at a Yahoo address, and the message seems to be not exactly giving an order, but giving a very loosely veiled threat that the principal is running out of time to complete whatever task they were assigned to do.
Out of curiosity, this work order for expanding the school, is this new classrooms, or is it anything interesting looking to me?
So from what you can see on the drawings, it's a lot of just kind of cosmetic facelift stuff. But there's also some weird drawings pertaining to the basement level. And you're not quite sure what all they're trying to accomplish with those.
This
like
point,
intelligence academics, if you want to like really get into the nitty gritty on the drawings, but it looks like it's trying to expand the basement level somehow.
and this has yet to be completed.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah, it looks like they haven't even started yet.
Okay, I'm going to take the plans with me when we leave.
Sounds good.
Maybe about this time, you hear someone running down the hall.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You guys can hear Ollie just booking it, like clearly not trying to be stealthy at this point.
Yeah, at this point, and then just like literally skidding to halt on those slick high school hallway floors, catching on the door frame. We gotta go. Gotta get out of here.
And I'm after him.
Let's go.
Beth closes the email and then shuts down the computer, takes the Kleenex and wipes the keys a little, the computer screen, and then leaves.
All right, you all book it out of the school.
Yeah.
Top speed.
Yeah, getting out. 100%. And I'm not even telling him why until we are in the car driving away. And then I will say, murder room in basement.
Did you call the police?
But no, I came and got you guys so we could get the heck out of there. I'm not going to call the police while we're in there.
Do you think we should?
I don't think we should be involved, but I definitely think we should. Should we just post it?
Like the other tip, like the mansion.
Yeah, but I mean like publicly, like because we don't know. Maybe the cops are in on it. They it doesn't look like they've investigated the mansion.
Yeah,
Do
that's
we
a
just
good idea.
just drop it on? I'll set up a separate TikTok. We'll put it on Facebook so all the old people can see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Old people love Facebook. That's a great idea.
I know it's right. My Nana's on it. This is gonna ruin her morning, but I think we just and I'll put out maybe the word to some of my contacts to like discover it and start sharing it.
Okay.
Just 'cause I'm not trying to go put it out underneath my own name, or underneath the Echo Runner name, because I don't want the cops or the bad guys or the cops who are the bad guys to figure out that we're involved if we can help it.
Okay, so just creating a burner account, basically.
Yeah.
All right, and are you all going back to the mansion in the early hours of the morning?
No, why?
I don't know, because your GoPro is still stashed in the bushes.
Oh yes. Okay. Yes. We'll go grab. I thought you meant like in the mansion. No, thank you.
I mean, you could.
No
That's
thanks.
an option too.
No thanks.
Okay.
I don't. I'm used to going in places that don't have murder rooms in them, and now we've been in 2 places that have murder rooms. This is not how I like to spend my time.
That's fair. Yeah, you go and you are able to grab your GoPro out of the bushes by the mansion, and as you're pulling your GoPro out from the bushes, you notice that it's notably askew from how you had attached it.
Dang it.
And it doesn't look like it is anything that would have happened by the wind, because it seems almost perfectly 90 degrees rotated from how you left it.
Yep. Gross. All right. Cool. Grab it.
If somebody is inside, do you think we should go in?
Oh God. How good are you really at boxing, though? That's the thing.
I mean, you don't
I'm
even
going to
know
make
if
it one
anybody's
day.
inside. You didn't have signal. You don't even know what the GoPro saw.
Well, but no, it has local recording.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, hold on 1 second. Okay, scrub back through and see, like super fast forward to see where the angle switched, and then play it from a few minutes before, like a few seconds before that, to see like did a shadowy dark figure come and move it, or was it done by magic, or was it a demon, or
Oh yeah, no, it was absolutely a shadowy dark figure. Mostly because you can clearly tell that they are wearing some kind of full length cloak in black. So being on this side of the house, away from the street lamp, you can tell that it's somebody, it's human, but you can't see any distinguishing features. It looks like there were 2 figures going into the house. One of them stopped before going in and turned around and walked straight to the camera and just reached out one hand and rotated.
how did they know?
I have a subtle question. These full-length black robes, is there notable boobage involved? Are they?
There is no notable boobage.
Okay, thank you.
Is that a medical term?
Well, I was wondering whether the ghost in the window, the lady, was involved in some way.
Or if it was Emily. But who knows? Yeah, so there's maybe cultists that are in there now. How long ago was this roughly?
It looks like it was roughly an hour and a half ago. Like the timing of when the 2 figures went into the house seems to correspond almost exactly with when you lost signal in the school.
Oh, great. Do we rush in and beat the crap out of them?
So they know we're coming then, if they can spy on us. I absolutely think we should rush in and beat the crap out of them.
Okay. Well, I mean, it's fine if it's one episode, right? So we can, I guess. I'm not cool with people murdering people. And if this is indeed some like even worse thing, then we should probably do whatever we can to try to stop it.
Well, the principal wasn't the blackmailer. We know that because he had a meeting with Emily. So he didn't need to send her notes.
Who knows? These people are clearly crazy. They could do anything. I mean,
And we're crazier.
Yeah, maybe he had a meeting with her and it didn't go well, so he sent her a note later. Who knows? Or maybe the principal is a victim. Maybe he's been replaced by a pod person. Who knows?
Beth, are you okay with going in?
Yeah.
Do you have like a gun or something?
I have a rapier and
Oh, that's
I
right.
have a knife.
Okay, cool. All right, well, I got my gloves on. Got my crowbar out. I think we're just going to storm the mansion. This sounds like a terrible idea.
It does sound like a terrible idea. It also sounds like the absolute best place to stop it for today, and that's where we'll pick up next week.
How dare. Well, actually, that's
How
good.
dare.
That gives us a chance to like go, actually, no, this is a terrible idea.
You have a whole week to consider whether this is what you want to do.
Yeah. I like it.
So yeah, that is where we will pick things up next week. Hopefully, Pity will be able to join us for that one. If not, we will continue with our exciting party, who is definitely not injured in any way, shape, or form yet physically.
Storm in and Carrie's in there.
I mean, that could happen too.
Oh, yeah. About to be sacrificed.
Mm-hmm.
It's possible. We'll figure it out. Cool.
Awesome. Let's go around and tell everybody where they can find you. Zero, let's start with you.
Sure. I tried to turn my camera back on. I'm going to switch out the dummy battery for the real one for next time so it doesn't overheat. I am Zero or Zero Daylight or Michael. You can find me here a time or two a week. Next you can find me is tomorrow when we are doing the second of two planned sessions of issue 5 of Teen Justice Academy. So that will be awesome. And then the time after that will be, is it next weekend or is it the weekend after? I forget when we pick this up, Athos.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. It is the weekend after next. So
Weekend
not
after.
November 5, the week after.
Okay, so November 12th, we'll be back here on Saturday.
Yes.
Roughly the same time to see if we all die in the first 5 minutes. Cool.
Yeah, we'll find out.
Yo, Sin.
Hi, I'm Sin or Sinful __ potato on all the social medias. The next time you'll find me here will be the next time we do this, which will be November 12th. I also play other TTRPGs with other cool people. So you could also probably find me on like Backwind's channel at some point in time, playing Backwind's Masks at some point in time within the next 2 weeks. Probably. I don't know. I do stream occasionally. I don't know when I'd stream next, but I do stream. Other than that, you can find me in people's channels, chats, just chatting or sleeping, because I do both. Yeah. Twy.
I have been Twi'lek, and I've been playing Mike. Next week will also, the week after next, I shall also be Twi'lek, and then I shall be playing a dead body. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. And I am Erthos or Lord Erthos here on Twitch. You can find me on C+ content in chat rooms for our friends of the channel. Yeah, as already said, we'll be playing again in 2 weeks for this particular game. As Zero said, we got some mass games and other stuff going on right now too. But that's all we have for this week. We will pick up again and wrap up this Chronicles of Darkness game in 2 weeks. Who do we have online right now that we could raid?
We have Meg.
Oh, Meg is perfect. We haven't seen Meg in a while.
I know, so I'm just going to load that up. Cool. Yeah, so raid queue is loading. Thanks, everyone, for coming and hanging out with us. Come back again tomorrow and then in a couple of weeks for more spookiness and stuff. Cool. Yep. It's all loaded. Let's go. Show Meg all the love. Thanks for dropping in the raid calls. Bye, everybody.
See ya.